in 2016. I urge all of you to think about voting third party because it's the only chance we have to stop the tyranny of the two-party system and the corruption and all the moneyed connections they have to powerful moneyed donors that keep getting what they want, which doesn't help you, the taxpayer, because they're leeching your tax dollars to get what they want. They want more military spending money. The budget's now close to $1 trillion a year for military spending. The truth is, our country spends more on the military than all other nations combined. We were just talking about a possible doomsday bomb that Israel may or may not possess, a cobalt bomb, the ability to actually destroy the earth completely, fracturing the earth's mantle and the crust. Such a thing is enough of a bargaining chip, don't you think, to try to work toward nuclear non-proliferation? You'd think that would be enough of an incentive for Iran to jump on the table, but Israel has never admitted to having a nuclear bomb. So we're listening to Netanyahu talk to Speaker of the House Boehner and all the other people in Congress today, and warning us about Iran's growing nuclear threat. And I'm very concerned about Iran with a nuclear weapon. They seem like a rogue nation, hell-bent on defending themselves with nuclear-tipped missiles. They're creating ICBMs in 9 factories around Tehran. We don't know what their payload is going to deliver to or how much of a devastation it will cause, but the bottom line is we want to prevent them from getting nuclear-tipped missiles. AR-15 ammo ban is in place. I didn't know that. Okay. Whirlwind is here. Good evening. The nuclear cat is out of the bag. We have the technology to stop a missile in its silo. The laser technology is exported to satellites. They are testing and deployed. I worked for the NSA, he says. And he tested this platform on various fields, creating crop circles. The tech is precise. Wow. So you guys at the NSA have been making crop circles, huh? Let the truth be known, I guess. Oh, yeah, it's nice coming from a person who says they were in the NSA. David needs to tell us the truth about being fiscally conservative. I am. I don't in any way support bigger government solutions. No. All of my ideas are based on private donations and ultimately investments. All of our solutions to build up American business at the government level are based in part on using existing funds properly, making good use of our funds, not adding to your tax dollars. In fact, lowering your tax dollars by producing products that will get money back, a return on investment for the government. That's at the heart of our concept of hybrid capitalism. Okay, we'll talk about that a little later too. I was bringing up some pretty interesting things. We've got a situation on our hands. Yeah, Kim Jong-un is threatening America yet again. And these threats are getting more real in his mind. I didn't know the Apple Maps program cannot find Oak Harbor. Leroy, I had no idea. Wow. Thanks for telling me. Maybe there's some sort of a glitch there. After work hangout, come in here. The NSA guys come in. That's pretty funny, Bengalitis. Well, yeah, this guy Kim Jong-un, the supreme leader and divine ruler of North Korea, says reportedly tells the North Korean army to prepare for war with the U.S. The prevailing situation where a great war is going to occur is here. And this guy believes that he's asking for national reunification is at hand, requiring all of the Korean People's Army units to become elite guard units, fully prepared for war politically and ideologically, in military technique and materially. They speak very interesting formation of words there. And here I thought he was just one great Xbox gamer. You know, if this guy would play Xbox more often, maybe we wouldn't have a war. I know, and those poor people are starving. But, you know, the truth is, 1 out of every 100 people in North Korea are in jails, like Camp 22. Apparently there's all kinds of Camp 22s in North Korea. They're speckled all over the countryside. They like the number 22, apparently, but there's a lot of people in jails and dying. Our country, America, not 1 in 100, but 2.3 in every 100 people are in prison. Yet we claim to be the freest nation in the world. Isn't that interesting? We have a higher per capita prison population than any other civilized nation in the world, yet we claim to be the freest nation. How ironic. Pat Robertson freaks out about legalizing marijuana. He says smoking pot is slavery to vegetables. the religious right winger Pat Robertson, who's becoming more and more elevated. I believe he may very well be talking. He's really kind of reaching a new level. It's kind of strange how his head is changing position, don't you think? I mean, it's almost like he's becoming this guy. I mean, when you look at his head, it's like, Hail Bop anybody? I mean, seriously. You got, it's starting to look like the Hail Bop scenario. Of course, anybody could look like Hail Bop. But I could even look like Hail Bop. I mean, Hail Bop. I mean, seriously, if somebody said I look a lot like this guy. And I don't want to denigrate myself, but I like to deprecate myself. I like self-deprecation. It's kind of funny. Don't worry. Hail Bop will be coming by in another 2,000 years. We still have a chance, everybody. Get your Nikes. Okay. Not allowed to laugh at my own jokes. I'm looking a little peaked, I think. Yeah, I was told that I'm not allowed to actually laugh at my own jokes, so I'm trying not to. Dave, we will be high for marijuana on your cast. I can't wait to see you high. Hiya! Well, you are welcome to do whatever you can in your own state that allows it if you're on medicinal marijuana use. And let me get to my advanced settings. My color intensity is off as usual. A little bit more color. At least I don't look like I'm in a morgue. That's better. We cannot talk about Irish unity right now. I'd rather look at Pat Robertson. He says in an epic rant against the recent wave of new laws legalizing or decriminalizing marijuana, infamous televangelist Pat Robertson cautioned that smoke pot is slavery to vegetables. Yeah, as bizarre as it sounds, Monday on Robertson's show, The 700 Club, he preached that his claim that God gave you and me as human beings authority he gave us dominion over everything on this earth. And apparently we're being enslaved by a vegetable. I just can't imagine. I think I got something better here. Oh yeah, the U.S. is running out of room to store oil. You know that Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states, nations, are producing such a rapid amount of oil. 2 million barrels over an abundance of what we need per day. That they're running out of places to stick it. Well, Kim Jong-un is just vying for power over his own people. Yeah. He has not helped his own people. He just wants power over his own people. Transcript of Netanyahu's address to Congress. Okay. Thank you. Well, let's talk about the Irish. I need the Irish on my side. You guys have a little nip on your bottle there, and we'll get back to you in just a bit. Heaven's Gate was a group of hackers that broke the 128-bit encryption bank code useless, and the credit card platforms useless. These hackers were exterminated, and they were labeled a cult. Wow, Whirlwind, that's got to be the best conspiracy show ever. You should have talked about that last night when we could verify that. So you're telling me that Hail Bop was a complete false flag cover-up for a mass killing of hackers that broke 128-bit encryption? Well, if that's the case, man, excuse me, but how come when I go to heavensgate.com, I come up with the worst, it's now current affair. Heavensgate.org that's available for sale. So they're so good that they couldn't secure a permanent website into perpetuity. I mean, somebody that good is going to be able to have a website forever, right? There it is. Okay, it's here. Red alert, Hail Bop brings closure to Heaven's Gate. Oh, so they do have a website, heavengates.com. Heaven's Gate, not Heaven Gate, Heaven's Gate. You do? Well, you could probably make a lot of money in the industry of your choice. All right, let's look at this here. This is a website that they created, and look at the source code on this website. Better yet, let's not. Yeah, the source code is written in HTML. Now you're telling me that the creators of this website somehow used HTML. These are the people you claim broke 128-bit encryption. I just find that incredibly hard to believe. I'm trying to find the truth here. But it's a very interesting theory, Whirlwind. Sounds like a horror movie. David, Gabby Giffords is at it again. Oh, she's out there promoting more gun control? Gabby, you know, she escaped her life when Jared Lee Loughner shot her. She's going to kickstart her new gun control cabinet. You know, Brady died, so now Giffords taken over the position. I do not think you're a stupid sniper. I am fully aware of your intelligence. It is being monitored on the side. I don't have lipstick on, man. There's something wrong with the white balance here. I don't know what it is, man. It does kind of look like I've got tips of lipstick on, though. I was a little concerned about that. Netanyahu address to Congress, same old argument. Well, believe me, we are concerned. I always was concerned about color intensity was too high. That's better. Okay. This is a real trick, getting it to work. Yeah, color intensity was, I was like way out, too far. All right. Drop grain. There we go. Vern Troyer, how are you? Same old argument. This is from thereason.com. An argument that Netanyahu addresses to Congress, same old argument against Iran negotiations. Yeah. Prime Minister Netanyahu addressed a joint session of Congress this morning. In 2002, Netanyahu testified on Iraq before House Government Affairs Committee. There he guaranteed that taking out Saddam Hussein would have enormously positive reverberations on the region. Right. But his rhetoric on Iraq's nuclear capabilities matched Netanyahu's. Most of Washington's 2011. Netanyahu addressed the joint session in Congress warning the threat of nuclear Iran, something he has a long history of overblowing. Oh, okay. Well, we have gotten no wiggle room at all from President Rouhani of Iran. We've had no overtures from them. You'll notice that most negotiations with Iranian are one-sided. And because Barack Obama decided to give him $7 billion for nothing in return, Netanyahu had to grab his bags and come on over and talk to the Speaker of the House, Boehner, and all of Congress. Because our president hasn't done his job. He hasn't worked with Netanyahu to make a credible threat to Iran that they better get their act together. That's really what's happening here. It's not lipstick. It's just the coloring on the camera, man. Don't worry about it. You're having a bi-curious moment. It's not your fault. It's the beef byproducts you're eating. The hormones in the hot dog is making you think weird thoughts, buddy. Well, thank you so much, Russia. Are you trying to belittle the Irish person we have in the room? Please, come on. Don't do that. You're trying to alienate Sniper. One. You offer all beer, whiskey, or a toke. Wow. See, he's trying to be friendly. Imbroglio, David, do you realize that Boehner is in violation of the Logan Act? I believe he is in violation if he were to talk to Netanyahu in Israel, as opposed to having Netanyahu come to America and meet in front of Congress. Congress has the ability to gather information, and they needed to get Netanyahu's position on this. Obama has obfuscated any clear pathway to nuclear non-proliferation with Iran by offering $7 billion for nothing in return. Obama unveils a national Obama law plan. What? This guy keeps coming up with nonsense incessantly. It's like it's clouding our view of his nonsense from previous times. One pile of nonsense adds to another, and you've got the Obama administration. His plan for a progressive takeover of state and local policing. We have a great opportunity to really transform how we think about community law enforcement relations. We need to seize that opportunity. This is something I'm going to stay very focused on in the months to come. Well, how can he do that when he's playing golf and going on vacation all the time? Irish people can't vote for American presidents, David. I got that, thank you. But they can tell their American friends about us, so don't alienate the Irish. The Israeli president is inciting the Iranian people? Well, that's a bit of an outrageous statement, considering we haven't had any progress from Iran on the negotiations in the past 6 years. We can all vent here, yeah. Necromancer, please, don't solicit your psychic abilities here in the room. We don't need you to talk to our dead mother. I'm not racist. I'm not trying to be racist. I'm not racist. I'm trying to be fair here. And please, I'm not in any way alienating you from Israel. I am concerned about the growth of Zionism, however, and the takeover and the global world decision of the Zionists to control the world. That's not something I support. Well, let's be clear. I'll talk like a white man now. Okay? Well, this is exactly how a white man talks. That's why Barack Obama is perhaps the best impersonator of a white man in American history. No, I don't want another war. I just want Iran to get to the negotiating tables. Frups, do you want to allow Iran to put a nuclear tip on their missile and send it over to America? Do you want a rogue nation to threaten the world's stability by saying, I will blow all of you up? That's a little crazy, don't you think? What if you have a suicidal jihadist nation like Iran that will threaten the world if we don't capitulate? Is that what you want? Does Israel threaten the world with a doomsday bomb? No, they've never even mentioned that they have a doomsday bomb, but many people believe that Israel does have a doomsday bomb. No, they have not allowed the IAEA inspections under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. The IAEA has never, ever been able to get to the enrichment zones. That's a lie. Allowing them through the outside gate and treating them to a cup of coffee is not getting in there with equipment to analyze the uranium on the soil and how much they need to accomplish their goal of centrifuging it. Please limit your hatred here, Sniper, to just your bottle of beer. I'm offering a solution, yeah. I do want to negotiate. Of course I want to negotiate. I want to negotiate with Iran. I want to give them something that they cannot possibly turn away. An opportunity. They're going to continue to make plutonium. They're going to continue to enrich uranium. I want to offer them a great opportunity to be a great trading nation with America, much like India and Pakistan. There's no lipstick here. This is a camera effect. I have a better camera now, and you're claiming I have lipstick on. All I'm saying, it's a plan that will. I'm going to make them an offer they can't refuse. Okay? They're going to want to trade with us. And frankly, if you look at the Iranian society, it's becoming more westernized. They like rap. They like hip hop. Right. There's a lot of ways of dealing with Iran. Negotiation is definitely on the table. Definitely. But to continue to bend over and say, well, it's okay if you extend out the time limit to get the enrichment zones to look at till whenever, and we'll continue to give you First Nation trading status. That's not the way to do it. There's got to be a carrot and a stick. And there's no carrot and stick with Barack Obama's plan. Well, I'm not denying that Israel would be a potential problem with nuclear non-proliferation as well. I just stated that they have not come to the table admitting they even have a nuclear weapon. So if we can get Israel to admit they have a nuclear weapon, that would be a big step in the right direction. What if we tied Israel admitting they have a nuclear weapon to our willingness to help Israel accomplish their goals? Wouldn't that be a good place to start? But no, we haven't even gotten that to square one yet. I'm not rewarding terrorism at all. In fact, our president has been rewarding terrorism. The Russians have been working through back channels and ineffectively with Iran. But let me tell you, we've seen some changes. The Russians have in their possession a very dangerous anti-ballistic missile battery that's mobile. And they have numerous ones of these what are called S-3000, S-300s. Let me see if I can show you a picture of one. They pulled back on their ability to deliver one of these to Iran because they felt that Iran wasn't capitulating with the Western powers. I don't seem to have a copy of that right now. Yeah, it's not there. Whenever I want it, it's never there. But what's happening in America is Obama has recently released 35,000 illegal aliens who are in our prison systems. They're now out there in the streets of America. These are criminals. These are people that are potentially going to be violent, commit acts of aggression against your family. Not these people in particular, but 35,000 people 6 months ago were released by Barack Obama into our country. Barack Obama has also brought 53,000 children with contagious diseases into our country. He's also said that he wants to offer 5 million work visas to illegal aliens, which would include a $35,000 per illegal alien in back earned income tax credit. Basically, Obama is trying to weaken our nation. At the same time, he's trying to negotiate with terrorists, Iran, giving them $7 billion in exchange for nothing in return. And I don't blame Netanyahu for coming over here and pleading his case. What else is he going to do? It's a very vulnerable country, the only democratic nation nestled in a lot of Middle Eastern nations that we truly can rely on as our ally. And you guys want us to alienate our one ally in the region. It's strange how we got the white supremacists hating on Israel. At the same time, we've got the communists engaged in supporting jihadism. The extreme right hates on Israel, and then the extreme left wants jihadists to take over, Muslims to take over. I mean, we've got a real seriously messed up situation, all under Barack Obama, with no clarity. All the terrorists should get laid, that will stop the wars. Well, that's an interesting theory by Polar Bear. I believe that my ideas of bringing water to the Middle East are far more potent and potential for solving and negotiating peace with all the people involved. The Gaza Strip, Egypt, Israel. The concept of bringing in a seawater pipeline to that region is very real. We have a concept we call Ocean Pipeline Project. We have oceanpipeline.com if you want to check it out. It could very well desalinate a massive amount of seawater and provide fresh water. My pathway to peace is offering a kind of an olive branch of water, which ultimately will equal food, which ultimately equals prosperity, which ultimately equals peace. This is a very simple scenario that could very well play out in the Middle East for eons to come. That's a real solution. That's not pie in the sky. This is really something that we could make happen. Water, creating food, creating prosperity, creating peace. Well, let's be clear. It's not a lipstick. I'm not wearing lipstick. Thank you. Stop with the lipstick. They were the main key to Israeli-Palestinian peace. Okay. Scissor Fight says, anti-whites rejoice. Teacher admits he helped write Common Core to end white privilege.
Every teacher that's using it basically is saying this is inspiring a closer and more engaged student body. So the people that are actually using it like it. And again, in terms of the local control, you still have local control. So if you want higher standards, if that is your genuine point, then you can go ahead and do the higher standard. And the process was indeed totally transparent. And I'm going to defer now to David and Bill.
I'm not paid to be here either. I'm just an interested teacher who helped write the standards. And the reason why I helped write the standards and the reason why I am here today is that as a white male in society, I'm given a lot of privilege that I didn't earn. And as a result, it's really important.
Whoa, oh my God. That was unreal. You heard that? This person actually admitted they wrote the core standards, and he said the reason why I received a lot of privilege that I didn't earn. Wow. You see, a lot of decisions in our education system are being motivated by white guilt. And that's a very important issue to talk about, considering I've been attacked by a bunch of white guilt people, calling me a racist for simply impersonating our president. It's amazing how these people are willing to throw away our freedoms, like our freedom of speech, in exchange for some nebulous concept they call political correctness, which is absurd. But I actually went out of my way to do a blackface video when Barack Obama became president, right around that time, because I wanted people to know that I am within my rights to do this. I went out of my way to do this. It was something that I purposely tested the waters on American freedom, and I think I've found that the Democrats don't want us to be free. They've systematically slammed me every way they can about just simply doing an impersonation video, which probably would have been hilarious on Saturday Night Live. And people are now telling me it's comic gold. Bottom line is, I'm just testing our freedom and showing you the parameters that the Democrats are creating right from under our feet. I'm not going to go back in time on Iran and try to rewrite the past. What happened with the Shah of Iran, his being deposed. I mean, there may even be CIA operatives within Ayatollah Khamenei's accoutrement, or his following of people. I'm not racist. That's the point, Stepcat. You people don't understand what freedom of speech is. And I brought you out every time you do that. You just don't understand freedom of speech. You don't understand what this country was predicated on. Obama doesn't understand it either. He wants to put together some sort of a nebulous program of progressivism without even telling police officers, do not use deadly force against innocents. There's nothing in his progressive plan to stop that. No, you can't kill anybody by testing your freedom of speech. I never hurt a soul by simply impersonating a black president. You're the weirdo for not even understanding the simplicity of what I'm trying to do. I'm basically I'm like a litmus test for your own stupidity. Anyone who accuses me of being a racist doesn't understand freedom of speech. It's very sad, really, when you think about it. But we are at that pivotal point in American history where we're losing our freedom so rapidly that I had to put up an effort to at least exert the one thing that would truly be free in America, freedom of speech. And freedom is like flexing a muscle. If you don't do it, it'll atrophy. So you have to keep pushing it. All right, so get over yourself. And I've been running a lot of discussions about doppelgangers. And somebody decided to pretend like I was a doppelganger for David Caruso, which is absurd. What is he, 5'7"? I'm 6'4". So I'm not gonna. There's no truth to that. So don't try to make me feel like I'm pursuing a conspiracy when I'm trying to tell you the truth. So bad relationship gets worse for Obama and Netanyahu. This never happens. U.S. presidents and Israeli prime ministers, however sharply they disagree, simply do not take public potshots at one another for the world to see. Obama's behaving like a child, like he did with Vladimir Putin. You Democrats should be ashamed of yourself, the way this guy's running off with it at the mouth. And I'm not going to even give you any airtime for him, because he gets too much airtime as it is. It was a harmless comparison. Okay, well, forget it then. But seriously, he's ruined relationships with Vladimir Putin, calling him a jackass. Now he's going after Netanyahu, a key ally in the region, because Obama never wanted to accept Netanyahu's red line in the sand that Iran crossed. I definitely want to seek a polarizing issue like blackface. I'm not avoiding it at all. I chose a polarizing issue when I did the blackface video because I want people to understand it's a dividing line between people who believe in America. I know, DT Laura. It's a dividing line for people in America who really not understand what America was founded on, freedom of speech, against the new wave of liberal leftists that are trying to turn our country into a bunch of mosh-brained, mumble-bumble, politically correct idiots. I'm not going to ever join the dark side, Steve-O, so sorry. Have another drink of your whatever you're drinking. I made a decision to support good issues throughout my life when I was a young man. I won't tell you how young. I made a very conscious decision to be a good person. I could have gone down the dark road. I could have been in jail doing double nickels in Chino right now. But I chose to be a non-violent person in my life. Well, make no mistake about it. I better turn that light on for Sarah, otherwise she's not going to make it in. I'm going to give you guys a little video to look at. Just for a brief moment. Something about the truth. And it's a commitment we have to the truth. And being this is Truth Tuesday, what better commitment than to promise the American people that I will open up an investigation as president of the 9/11 Commission's report, which I find to be very suspicious. And we'll look into why they didn't include a detonation in their assessment of what happened in the 9/11 World Trade Center attack. Because at America's Third Party, we are committed to doing just that. I'll be right back. Okay, so we have the Ocean Pipeline Project, a tangible way to get fresh water to California to solve all the environmental crises affecting our country and the world at large. Unlike the Democrats, we do have a plan. It's not cap and trade, and it's not carbon point legislation. It's actually a solution to provide fresh water around the world in areas that are clearly drying up for whatever reason. Whether you agree that it's climate change, or whether you think it's chemtrails that have caused this terrible drought across the Midwest, it's got to be solved. So that's our solution, and it's also a pathway to peace. I didn't see the study of my penis. No, I didn't. I never thought that they did study it. Yeah, how did anyone find out what? Yeah. Blackface Sponheim is trending on Twitter tonight. Thank you. Golden orbs. Nice to know. Be sure to include my links to my YouTube videos with that trend. We're so behind. Okay. You like the music? There are a few levels higher than that, President. That the President... okay. No, I'm not smoking a bowl. Will Blackface make an appearance on ATP anytime? I don't think it's appropriate to go beyond what I did already. It's out on YouTube. You can go to YouTube anytime you want and simply go to my link and you can see all my blackface videos. I'll be glad to make an appearance in an after show, but yeah. When's ATP anytime? We're on 5 to 9 now. We expanded show hours, are 5 to 9 p.m. David, please tell my woman friend you're not really a tutti frutti. I'm not gay, Skipper. I'm not gay at all. Some people think that there's like shades of gay and then you become heterosexual. I'm just not gay. Yeah, well, if the blackface has been purposely ignored by the NSA and Google, it doesn't get any hits on its own. It's kind of like, it's not going to jerk itself, if you know what I mean. The NSA is not going to give me any hit support through the tags on that site. We've got locked out on all kinds of tags on that whole website. My tie burns. It burns of the truth. This is a cool tie, isn't it? Little paisley pattern from way back. Hollywood, that is an outright lie, and I'm going to ban you for that. I'm going to purge you. No, maybe I should just ban you. Yeah, you're attempting to commit sexual harassment and demoralization at the same time. I'm going to ban you. Why do you feel sick, Iron Golden King? Well, Stepcat says, what makes you think you're important enough to get hits? Well, I've been pursuing the presidency for the past 6 years, and not one mainstream media venue has featured me for 2 seconds. I've done my show in blackface, Hell's Angels. I mean, I could easily bring in that blackface video and we could just do the show as if I were talking to you. I mean, it's no big deal. I'll just, pretend like this is the show. This is what the show would look like if I were doing the show right now.
I want to say that this is perhaps the most politically correct blackface video ever made in the history of mankind. Thank you. All right, let's go. Let's get ready to boogie. Well, make no mistake about it. Let's be clear. We're going to dance. We're going to... No. Hang on.
This would be the show.
So being America never won a world war besides World War II. We're going to start World War III and win that, okay? Because a lot of you didn't really understand that all these things are leading up to global new world order and global takeover.
All right, so I mean, what's the point? I mean, it's not like I need to do any kind of shock value here. It's not.
Thank you. And the problem that
it's like you can do all you want. I'm not an overzealous liberal. You want to see him too? Okay, let's play that. I don't have to be careful about anything I say about the guy. It's called freedom of speech.
Hi, my fellow Americans. My name is, well, I'd rather keep my name private for fear that someone might attack me on the internet. I want to remain completely anonymous, but I am a registered Democrat, and I am starting an organization called Democrats Against Free Speech in response to what I believe is an inappropriate use of free speech in which someone said something I didn't like. Let me explain. There is a person by the name of David Sponheim who has been making fun of Barack Obama, and he claims that he's using free speech to do it. Now, I find that very disturbing. First of all,
all right, so we're back up and running here. Let the green screen tell it like it is, man. Okay. I just think that we need to just talk about the issues right now. I do not make fun of Awesome Carl. I've always been asked, David, could you do the Awesome Carl call-in impersonation? And he always says this every time he calls in. Hey, it's me, Awesome Carl. And I'm going, okay, well, that was the only thing I've got. It's a soundbite, and I've never impersonated him in any negative way. Quality acting, thank you, Ron Golden King. That is his voice. Yeah, I do a lot of voices. I've done voice work for years, but that's not the point. I don't want to spend my life doing voiceover, making tons of money, and sitting there going, dial 1-800-555-1212. That's 1-800-555-1212. I think it's pretty sad that people actually do that for a living. No, I'm not wearing her panties. Okay, am I turning red? Boy, I really got red there. You see that camera just resets every time I bring it in. It's weird. It's like a default setting. I can't seem to control it. I'm wearing pants, yes. I'm wearing blue jeans today. See? Cam's fine. No, it isn't. It's too pink. I don't want people to think I'm a pinko. Well, let's be clear. I got to drop the color out. People said you had some lipstick on or something. Say that voice, 1-800. No. Can I please have an answer to my question? You sure can. David, you still haven't answered my question. Well, repeat your question every time you say that, so I'll be able to see it. What software do you use for green screen? That's the first thing I need to know. XSplit. It's got a very good utility for green screen. You know, I'm shocked, Wet Walnut. I don't think we need to talk about penis size, though, on our show about Truth Tuesday. I didn't really want to discuss it tonight. It's not important to the future of our country. You have to pay for a commercial use, yes. We paid for a 5-year license. No, not a Tomato Girl, I disagree. The only reason why I did a blackface video is because we have a black president. Had we had a Spanish president, I would have done a brown face video. Had we had a Chinese president, I would have done a yellow face video. You don't seem to understand that parody and free speech are protected in our country. That's the problem, Tomato Girl. You've actually become kind of mush-brained, like the Democrats. I'm urging everybody to start growing some balls, even you ladies. I know it's not possible for you to have testicles, but you need to grow some balls and realize that you cannot live in a politically correct world without having to face the tyranny of an overbearing government and the lies of a group of people that will resist talking about the issues and call you names instead. Take World Trade Center attack, for instance. God, I did it again. Look at that. It's terrible. I got to bring it in again. Okay. Bring it in again. No, she can disagree all she wants. I didn't kick her out of the room. Anyone can disagree here. It's that I kick people out for denigrating me or demoralizing what we're doing. Not true, Badger Waxer. I call you on that one. So we have to start realizing that you need to have a little bit of force behind your belief. You can't just be a mosh-brained idiot who sits there and goes, well, whatever you say, I just don't want to disagree and make any waves. Oh. We'll never get Iran to capitulate on nuclear enrichment if we're that way. Case in point, Barack Obama and his ridiculous offer of $7 billion for nothing in return. But when we have problems with our government lying to us and creating propaganda stories left and right about ISIS, you got to wonder what the end game is. They're obviously pushing for war, and they want to keep the American people as stupid as possible. Well, what has happened, folks, over the many years is our country has gradually been taken over by an elite group of secret societies. And JFK warned us about these people. In fact, they were the ones that killed our great president, John F. Kennedy. We only have to look at him to find out the truth about what our country is descended into right now. And he spelled it out for us.
Ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweigh the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment.
Okay, the announced need for our nation to have enhanced security will lead to its concealment and the greater need for its concealment. So the NSA and the military-industrial complex, which is so pervasive in our society, systematically is creating a case for, there's more terrorism, so we have to beef up more military expenses. We are already spending more than any other nation in the world combined on the military. You put all the nations together and put their military budgets on the same table, our country still spends more than they do. So we are being used by the very clandestine forces that ended up killing our great president, John F. Kennedy. These are the thugs. These are the criminals that control our country. And they've created an under-government, a shadow government, if you will. Oh, underground documentaries, thanks. I might check it out. Very cool. Great, it's a site that doesn't play instantly, that's good. No, I'm not dealing theory. JFK was clearly not shot by one person. Even John Kerry has openly admitted that JFK was probably shot by somebody else beyond Lee Harvey Oswald. Our own Secretary of State. So if you think for a second that I'm dealing with conspiracy theory when talking about something other than a lone gunman, you're mistaken. It's clearly a case of more than one shooter. Look at this. Here's the truth.
As the 50th anniversary of the assassination of John Kennedy approaches, Secretary of State John Kerry has inserted himself into this folklore by recent statements that he's made on NBC on a special about the subject. This is John Kerry, the man who was mentored by Ted Kennedy, a man who is a good family friend of the Kennedys, who was on the yacht with President Kennedy and Ted Kennedy. This is a man who is a Secretary of State who deals with Russia and Cuba and relations with...
This day, I have serious doubts that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone.
Where do you come down on the conspiracy theories?
To this day, I have serious doubts that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone.
On the conspiracy theories?
To this day, I have serious doubts that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone.
On the conspiracy theories?
To this day, I have serious doubts that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone.
All right, the doubts alone fuel the seriousness of this comment. So when John F. Kennedy talked about the secret societies, and this was his famous secret society speech, it got him killed. Stepcat, face reality, we've got thugs running our country. Right, on behalf of Veterans Against the War, yeah. Yeah, we got John Kerry's number there. Thank you, Feces. Yeah, a lot of people think the mafia whacked him. Either way, we've got criminals running our government, okay? As soon as you realize that, you'll realize how meaningless your vote is to these people. They'll manipulate you any way they can in the mainstream media just to get your vote. They want you to vote either Democrat or Republican because they own the Democrat-Republican Party. I'm telling you, there's ample proof that John Kennedy was shot by the very person that was driving the vehicle the day of the terrible day of his infamous death. Take a look at the Zapruder tape right now. You can take a look. Yeah, I showed this last night. It was kind of troubling, but yeah, it's going to be a little difficult for you to see. But you're going to see the guy hold a gun right here on the president. The driver shoots him with his hand right there. I can prove you with a visual right there. You just have to look at it. No, it's not the sun's glare. That's a hand holding a gun, blowing our president's head off. It's right there for plain for you to see right there. Boom. See it? Up and to the left, yeah. And right at the head, he shot it with a weapon that actually had a venom from shellfish in it, which guaranteed his death. And the autopsy that they did was a botched job on another guy that looked like John F. Kennedy. Well, I'm just telling you, folks, this is a serious problem. So you want proof? I give you proof. This is as far as I go. Then I start banning you from the room. I cannot stand to watch this myself over and over again to show you that the gun is shooting his head. But it really is. And our president died because he challenged the Federal Reserve and the secret society as much as I'm doing right now. That's pretty cool. Yeah, run with it, man. I don't mind showing you the death of our great president because I'm sure he would have wanted it to mean something. No one wants their death to mean absolutely nothing. So we've done everything we can to inspire the American people and to build a new political movement. And I will continue to work on every front to make that happen. I've got a plan for you to promote me with printing up an 11 by 17 piece of paper on cardstock in color. You can go to davidsponheim.com and print this up right now and have it printed up at Office Max for $1.33. That's how easy it is to start promoting us in the front room of your house or your apartment. It's that simple. So this is more than just a campaign to get me to the presidency. This is a campaign to clean up government. This is a campaign to lead a top-down restoration of our nation before it's too late. Okay, Necromancer. You got a really good delusion going. Go for it. YouTube. Clang, you are sick. Imagine if the First Lady would have wrestled the gun away from the driver. Yeah, imagine that. Thank you for that. No, I would never support a gun ban, door-to-door confiscation. Are you kidding me? I support gun rights. I support the right to bear arms, Second Amendment right. You're right. Hitler could not have started with a webcast, Clank. He got funding from J.P. Morgan, the Vanderbilts, Henry Ford, Union Bank of New York, and Prescott Bush, the great-grandfather of George W. Yeah, he actually produced a plan to change Germany by getting funding from America. People don't realize that about Hitler. This is the original truth background. Kind of cool, isn't it? It matches my tie a little bit. There it is. Okay. Okay, any other questions? Let me move this up. All right, here we go. I would never read Mein Kampf. I have no respect for Hitler. I have not written the book about my struggles yet. It's currently being penned. I wrote a book called Hybrid Capitalism, which is a blueprint for economic survival. I guess I am a kind of a misunderstood genius because no one understands the parameters of freedom. They seem to want to categorize everybody and call them names. So if I were to talk to you about 9/11, I do love my car. If I were to talk to you about 9/11, and you'd probably say, oh, well, there's got to be a reason why the FBI didn't reveal more than 15 frames of this picture. This is all that they revealed. The FBI had over 83 camera angles, but they only revealed these 15 frames, showing an ever so small image in it, which appears to be that of a missile, not a 737. So what are they covering up and why? That is the real question. This is not theory. The truth is the FBI only revealed 15 frames of what could have been multiple angles. The truth is this missile struck the Pentagon at an exact location that had all of the people in the Office of Naval Intelligence working on discovering why George H.W. Bush had not paid back a bond issue of $240 billion. So my question is, to get this blur off the screen, 127 people all were investigating George H.W. Bush. The missile actually made a circuitous path around in a circle. If it was a plane, it would have had to make an almost impossible move to get down to the Pentagon in that particular location. It could have hit the Pentagon from the other side easily. But it sure looked like the nose of a missile. Yeah. So why are we looking at theory when we have the facts right in front of us? $2.3 trillion were missing from the Pentagon budget the day before the World Trade Center attack occurred. And this is coming from the words of Donald Rumsfeld, the Secretary of Defense at the time. $2.3 trillion, that's right, missing from the budget at the Pentagon. Donald, come on, man, it's your time to wake up. Here you go.
Pentagon, the day before 9/11. Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld declared war, not on foreign terrorists.
The adversary is closer to home. It's the Pentagon bureaucracy.
He said money wasted by the military poses a serious threat.
In fact, it could be said that it's a matter of life and death.
Rumsfeld promised change, but the next day, the world changed. And in the rush to fund the war on terrorism, The war on waste seems to have been forgotten.
Yeah, so that, well, believable, being Secretary of Defense, he wouldn't have lied about the lost trillions of dollars. God, what is your problem, man? I'm not talking about conspiracy theory, I'm talking about facts here. Everything has been brought up as a fact. There were more than 15 witnesses to the 9/11 attack that were inexplicably dead a year later. That's another fact. I'm not dwelling on the past, I'm trying to get our troops home. By not starting more wars, and by dealing with what happened in the World Trade Center, we have to look at that as one of the reasons why we started 2 wars. Basically, George W. Bush didn't give any facts when he attacked Afghanistan, when he attacked Iraq. There were no facts backing what he did. Nothing. Even the 9/11 Commission report never named anybody from Iraq or Afghanistan, per se. Yeah, where did the engines go? You know, when you look at what a plane does to a large concrete slab, you'll realize that the entire idea of the planes knocking down the Trade Center is absurd. Look at this.
Themselves. Time for a new test using an F-4 Phantom jet. The US government wanted to test what would happen if a plane crashed into the concrete walls of a nuclear power station. The jet sets off, bolted to a track to prevent takeoff. It's doing 500 miles an hour. The plane atomized with the impact. It just disappeared into dust. Only the tips of the wings escaped total destruction. But the wall, designed to move and absorb energy, did its job well.
The World Trade Center was built to withstand jets almost the same size as the 737. And architects from around the world, over 10,000 architects, have signed on and actually did a very good documentary talking about how it's impossible for those planes to have taken down the World Trade Center. That those buildings were built to withstand the hit of a 707 or more. All of them were. There's no theories here, Hells Angels. Hey, I'm going to pull you off the show because you're basically the same freak that has posted pictures of various sick thoughts. And I just don't think you're really offering the room anything important by just naysaying whenever I bring the truth to you. So I'm going to ban you from the show. Pick up another name. Any name. You'll be babysitting your grandkids saying goo goo gaga. Well, that's all they'll be saying. They won't even be able to state a word or two. They'll be so heavily fluoridated, they'll be going, You know that this is the truth. The statistic that just popped out in the education community is shocking. 50% of all kids in America will have autism by the year 2025. Seriously. Abnormal says, during the first Gulf War, why did America stop the coalition stop outside of Baghdad? George H.W. Bush, he told General Norman Schwarzkopf to stop the attack on Iraq because they actually still needed Iraq as a deterrent against a growing Iran. Remember, Iraq's power was created as a deterrent to keep balance and power in the Middle East. The Iraq-Iran war was one of those tools that America was using to keep certain parity in that region. So that's why he backed off. He didn't want Iraq to be completely disabled and attacked by the Shiite majority Iran. And that's similarly why our government's been funding ISIS. They did it because they wanted to challenge former Prime Minister Maliki's Shiite-led regime because they were siding with Iran. And they were growing rapidly in their relationship with Iran. So they did whatever they could to create some alternative power. They didn't realize that ISIS would become a problem unto itself, or maybe they did. Maybe they've been using it as a propaganda tool to inspire more war against the Middle East. But bottom line is, the American people have been led down the road to believe that the only secret to security is to fight wars. So somehow the American people have been led to believe that the only pathway to peace is by starting wars. That's how completely upside down and convoluted this entire discussion is. Nothing is okay. I'm trying to reorganize a plan to solve our foreign policy issues without having to start wars and spread this empty-headed ideal of democracy, which we ourselves don't even have, as is evinced by my recent primary race where the Democrats and Republicans stole 90% of my signs. We don't even have democracy here. We have cheaters, we have thugs, we have corrupt prostitutes running our country. So I'm running a very strong campaign against corruption and toward bringing our troops home and ending these ridiculous battles against other nations that pose no harm to us and will in no way be a threat to us in the future. Syria has no great intention to expand out their territory, nor does the Ukrainian government. And Russia might as well just continue on their efforts to monitor the situation where they're at. We're not going to be able to start another war in that region without facing World War III scenarios left and right. Vice versa means whatever, Tomato Girl. I had family in 9/11. I don't hate the Americans for I'm not ISIS. I'm sorry you lost your family. That's right, Clang. You tell her. You call her stupid. You know, Clang, that's demoralizing a woman. I think that's wrong. Show a little bit more respect. Thank you. Iowa gas tax increase officially starts Sunday. Yeah, these Democrats and Republicans are trying to scam any way they can. Oh, price of gas is low. Let's hit them with $1 per gallon. Well, frankly, feces, I really don't like bullying. I prefer it if people didn't bully each other. It's wrong. Flat out wrong. So we don't know a lot about information about what happened in the World Trade Center attack. The people that were on the ground watching, like the guy in Pennsylvania that was sitting on the ground when the jet landed and he looked at all the debris. You know, Flight 93? There was never a single body on the ground.
On fire, some small fires in the woods, just small brush fires. The ground smoking, debris everywhere, pieces of metal, paper, insulation, wiring, and I just looked around and no people, and I'm thinking, where are the people?
Where have all the bodies gone? Long time passing. There were no bodies. There were actually no bodies. Look at this photo. He didn't see a single body at the crash site. Where have all the bodies gone? There's a memorial there, but there were no actual bodies there at the crash site, Flight 93. It's just some strewn garbage. Well, whatever happened to Flight 93, the mayor of Cleveland said it landed. Right, I understand the USA created ISIS. I know. And we're trying to get the American people to make a clear understanding that this propaganda campaign is designed to make us want to start a war. And Obama's primary directive is to start a war, ironically. And you Democrats better wake up fast because you're being played. All of you Democrats who vote Democrat every single year are being used as a voting block of numbskulls who will vote for war, thinking it's somehow a pathway to peace. Iron Golden King says, I'm pretty sure David is going to be president. Everyone I know in real life has been talking about him. Thank you, Iron Gold. I wouldn't doubt that because we have a really strong word-of-mouth campaign that is defying the powerful elitists' control mechanisms that they use over the mainstream media. I'm fairly sure I will be president, and I'm fairly sure that I will be assassinated. Just so you know, I'm living right on the edge to help you, the American people, have certain sense of accountability from these thugs and criminals that have taken over our government. I'm giving my life to you. Now, if you don't like that, then, hey, I'm sorry that you met me. But I am a real courageous person. I'm willing to stand up for what this country really, really deserves. A person, a thinking president who can solve problems and lead us toward peace with other nations. What we've seen from Obama is a stumbling, babbling idiot who is literally putting us at harm's way everywhere we turn. The signs of his problem with Netanyahu occurred early on. What happened was he actually rejected Netanyahu when he came over one night. He actually canceled the evening with Netanyahu to have a private dinner engagement, which totally disrespected Netanyahu. and ultimately cost relationships right away. And then he abandoned Netanyahu's concern about the red line in the sand that was created with the nuclear detonation program that Iran had created. So we've seen a systematic breakdown in our relations with Netanyahu. And this is a classic example of what's happening. What am I looking at, Tomato Girl? Those look like pasted up faces, man. Well, Richard, you never know. But I mean, I'm taking on the behemoth criminal cartel called the government. Hello. Hey, yeah, what's going on? What's that? Good. Oh, good, good. Oh, really? Okay, great. Good to know. I'll tell Sarah when she gets home. Yeah, she's really taken a long night. I haven't seen her yet. She hasn't come home yet. Anyway, I got another call. I'll tell her and I'll have her call you when she gets in. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello. Okay, that was it. All right, good to know. All right, anybody have any other questions here? Yeah, the methodology we're using, I put in place 6 years ago. And I've used a guerrilla marketing tactic, which would be the blackface videos, as well to boost my messageability. Even though they've suppressed the links on all of our YouTube sites so that we no longer get hardly any click-throughs at all, they can't stop the word of mouth that's going on in the country. We've reached almost 500,000 or more people in America. And talk of a third party is in the works right now. What do you have there, Faces? I don't get it. What are we looking at? Why do I keep getting a picture of a Little League team? I don't get that. I don't even know where she is. She's on the way back from work. I'll be glad to call her, though. Okay, any other questions related to politics in general? Okay, we'll probably get nervous around 8 o'clock if I don't hear from Sarah. Okay, we've had a connection loss in chat. Not sure why, but I'll continue on as if everything's normal. So the story that we wanted to talk about is the U.S. running out of room to store its oil. Yes, it is. The U.S. has so much crude that it's running out of places to put it. That could drive oil and gasoline prices even lower in the coming months. Well, that's a good thing for consumers, right? Brent crude is up 5% as Saudi sees improved demand for oil. Oil gains, but holds below 50 after supplies rise. Interesting. So the production cost of a barrel of oil is about $50, and the cost of oil is about $50. And oil continues lower as the EIA reports 8.4 million barrel supply rise. Yeah. There's a tremendous amount of oil being produced every day. It's in glut. It's an oil glut. U.S. supplies rise to fresh record. Okay. If this keeps up, storage tanks could approach their operational limits, known in the industry as tank tops, by mid-April. Okay. And some people are suggesting oil could fall all the way to $20 a barrel from the current 50. Wow. At the rock bottom price, oil companies faced with mounting losses would stop pumping oil until the glut eases. And gas prices would fall along with the crude. The national average of gasoline is $2.44 a gallon. Cool. I think I hear Sarah coming up the door right now. Oh, you're in. Awesome. We're back. Hey, Mike, Dave, thank you. Abnormal. I know, I was talking to Sarah. We had a little private conversation. It's no big deal. Okay, it's your face on a little league game. Dave, it's your face on a little league game. Dave, it's your face on a little league game. Dave, it's your face on a little... Well, isn't that special? Somebody spent their time pasting my face into a document. Isn't that special? Feces, will you stop making attempts to get involved with Tomato Girl? It sounds like compost, trying to nourish a plant. I'm paying a lot of attention. I sent a letter to my congressman, Iron Golden King says, asking why he doesn't agree with Sponheim's peaceful diplomacy. And my congressman wrote me back telling me war made his bleak hard with a... Wow. You got a very hawkish president or congressman there. That's awesome. Businessman, what are you even piping up for? Rodney, I don't need to have your hateful anti-Semitic conversation today. Thank you. It's just wrong. Show some deference. Netanyahu needs a little support right now. The least you could do is act like a true Republican. What's your problem, man? At least Speaker of the House Boehner stepped up and did the right thing. Maybe you could do that too. I was wondering why all those players were so good looking. It's like, wow. Somebody had really went out of their way to make them all good looking. All right, so Bibi Yahoo should bleep off. Not Bibi Yahoo, it's Netanyahu. And he's just trying to get some clarity here. I'm not confused, Rodney. I heard your statement earlier on the phone. It was very disturbing. Boehner is doing everything he can do, Richard. He's just not galvanizing a very mixed up group of Republicans. They don't want to admit Barack Obama's an illegal alien, let alone a homosexual Muslim. I don't hate him because he's black. I hate him because he's a liar. And I don't really hate him. I just dislike him intensely. You like my redneck voice, abnormal? Well, I didn't slander anybody, but I wanted you to be clear that when I got a call from you talking about Jewish people, it was very inappropriate. Okay, let me put it that way. Thank you, Rodney. Now, if you want to call me seriously, you're going to have to, you have your one shot at a call this week. You're going to have to not talk negatively about Jewish people, okay? Thank you. I needed negative press to elevate in the news, Dave's coffee cup. I needed all the press I could get, negative or positive. I already have Patty Murray and all these people in Washington State saying that they hate me. That was a major accomplishment. I already got to the top of the news as far as that's concerned, but I haven't actually even been approached other than a 10-minute interview I did with Cairo TV that never aired. I don't think that that's appropriate, Tomato Girl. I think your fantasy life has consumed you. You need to talk about politics. Richard Einstein says Boehner is blocking any actions against Obama, especially the forged documents. I know, Richard. I know. Boehner is definitely lost. He's trying to play Mr. Moderate, and it's not going to work. We need a strong Republican attack on the president's policies. And Boehner has been woefully inadequate. I'm not bullying you. I just don't think it's appropriate to talk about your masturbatory fantasies in the show. Whatever, Clang. If it turns you on, that's your problem. I'm going to choose Jewish people now, too, because I think Netanyahu's trying to help. As an ally, Obama should not alienate him. And we're running out of room to store the oil. So what do you suggest we do? Well, we've got an aircraft carrier that's sitting down there in Galveston. We could fill it up with oil. Galveston, oh Galveston, fill it up with oil and sink it. Yeah, we could actually store it in the aircraft carrier. Were you able to call that?
Yeah.
Good. All right, Sarah is in.
If that's the case, we'll see. But they found the short.
Oh, good. Okay.
Too.
Excellent.
Cigarette lighter, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
They said.
Well, let's be clear. Okay. Rodney wants to clarify he supports Jewish people. Let's go ahead. Rodney, go ahead.
Well, hey, Dave, what I mentioned earlier was, I don't know if you ever listened to the great Dr. Michael Savage's radio program.
I did.
But tonight he was discussing the same topics, last evening. And basically he was calling out all of the American Jews who still support Obama at this point and the whole liberal agenda.
Oh, okay.
And he was referring, and he, as a Jewish man, was referring to those types of Jews as quote-unquote oven-ready Jews. And I thought it was pretty funny and pretty accurate.
Okay, I didn't know the context of why you said those words, but those words are really, really inflammatory and might be perceived as anti-Semitic, but I see your point. We want people in the Democratic Party to wake up to Obama's unwillingness to support Netanyahu's position with Iran. I think, and I thank you for clarifying, Rodney. I do appreciate the call after you clarified, because I didn't understand why you were saying that stuff. But thanks for. I don't watch Michael Savage.
It's a brilliant title for those people because they can't be helped. I mean, what have they not learned, through their lineage? That they're, endangered folks, and it's time to stand up, grab your set, and act like a man.
Yeah, I agree. And the time has come for us to. Okay, thanks for calling. I'll give you another call later if you want. Okay, thank you.
Have a great evening, buddy.
You too, man. Later. Yeah, see, we want to patch relations with people even like Rodney. I don't want to mislabel anything or mischaracterize anything. But yeah, if Michael Savage is concerned about Jewish people who are voting Democrat still and still supporting Obama, yeah, I'm glad he tried to wake them up because he's Jewish himself, Michael Savage is. All right, so Sarah, let's talk about your day. Was it busy?
Yes.
Really? Really busy?
But
Yeah.
okay. Just go with the flow.
Go with the flow, yeah.
I'm making a go with the flow day. How was your day?
Oh, good.
Busy?
Yeah. Well,
How was your salt? Do you need me? You don't
No, I'm doing okay. I was very careful. I went out to dinner or lunch with someone today, and I had a big salty meal, but it wasn't too salty, so I'm doing okay. I was very careful. Had some incredible, rare, wonderful.
Can I get rid of this?
Yeah, go ahead.
And this one.
Yeah, they're going to lower a gas tax increase. An Iowa gas tax increase is officially starting on Sunday. Let me just see what the total is, real quick. 10-cent gas tax increase. Okay, that's not a big deal. There was talk of a $1 gas tax increase, and we featured that story. And Pat Robertson, we covered that. We covered the JFK assassination, and we didn't want to talk about the groom of the stool or Vlad the Impaler. That was. I will look at the 11 things that the Democrats are questioning Netanyahu on. And I was kind of wondering, somebody said that Heaven's Gate was a group of hackers that broke the 128-bit encoding and that they were taken out. It wasn't actually a cult group that killed themselves. And I'm finding that very hard to believe because they created this website that's clearly written in pretty old code. But
Twitch.tv/Cool Rock Party is David's gaming.
And Gabriella Giffords is returning to Capitol Hill on Wednesday to help kickstart a long-shot campaign to expand criminal background checks to all commercial firearm sales. We support verification. That's why I got a C- from the NRA. That's all I care about is verification, making sure that you're not a violent criminal or mental patient when you order a gun. But I support gun rights, folks. I'm not going to instigate in any way gun control. I promise you.
What game do you want to play, Dave's Coffee Cup? Because I haven't played a live one yet.
You have a multiplayer. We have Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto multiplayer, and there's
Grand Theft Auto 4? Aren't you going to just come and shoot me?
Yeah, it's a really violent game. And then there's Call of Duty Modern Warfare Interactive. That was really good. I can see playing that. Oh, you just spent $25 and renewed your NRA membership? Well, John, the NRA basically hosed me down, gave me a C- when I filled out everything in favor of gun ownership except for one thing, verification. That's the only thing I said, and they gave me a C-. It shows you what a politically explosive group the NRA is. The Gun Owners Association of America is probably a better group to back myself if I were to look at, getting a donation. Or if I were to make a donation, I'd probably put it in Gun Owners of America. Well, I'm glad they don't influence your voting. Because I do support gun rights. I just don't think that we should just willy-nilly give away guns to mental patients and psychotics who want to kill people. But people with PTSD should get guns, as long as they're not violent.
That's not the case, Iron Golden King.
I never wanted to implement California gun laws across the country. No, I'm totally against gun control. At one point when we started this, being I was a former Democrat, I had this harebrained idea that I should reinstate the assault weapons ban, but I backed away from that completely. John kind of sees eye to eye on that issue. Well, I'm concerned that the NRA is rather reckless in their political attempts to vilify people. I mean, giving me a C minus, I could see getting a B plus, but a C minus on their grading scale, that was absurd. And they never published my response. I filled out a questionnaire. They never bothered to publish the response, and they never responded to my email concerning them. So they're not even playing with fair rules here. Well, yeah, in no way I'm going to take away guns from anybody. If you have a medical marijuana license, there's no way you'd have your guns taken away. I don't support gun control, period. Anybody who doesn't pose a danger can get a gun, and who has no capital offenses under their belt. Maybe a B plus or an A minus. Yeah, I was shocked when I got a C minus.
Thank you, Wet Walnut.
I didn't know AC/DC was coming out with a new album. Well, I was great at C minus. I don't know about blacklisted, but the blacklisting is working in my favor, don't you think? The point of a gun is to provide defense against a wild animal. Have you guys ever gone backpacking in the woods and wondered if a bear could rip you apart? You're barefoot out there in the middle of the woods. I would never sign an Israeli pledge, Richard. If they're going to ignore me, they're going to try to ignore me completely, and that'll be the end of the two-party system. This third party is growing whether you like it or not, or whether they like it or not. Well, this is the point. The background check could be done instantaneously, Leroy. We could have a website connected to the NCIS system that is an instantaneous check, and if you were a gun seller, you'd open up your tablet and go, okay, what's your name, sir? Are you willing to sign to give me $10 or $5, non-refundable, but it will apply toward the sale of the gun? And the guy says, yeah, you can check me out. Here's my $5, dude. So the guy goes online and checks his name, and it says, okay, you're clear to buy this gun. That $5 goes toward the sale of the gun.
We have NICS, the National Institute.
That's what I said, NICS. Did I say NCIS? David, have you gotten in trouble for giving you death threats yet? No, I don't get in trouble. I don't threaten anybody.
I think it's has anyone, not have anyone.
I'm not in trouble at all, no. Well, frankly, $5 gun check costs would be incurred by every gun sale. And that would be a simple checkpoint. You could do it within 5 seconds on the internet. I mean, it wouldn't be hard for us to put a database together that would check against anybody who has a history of saying they want to kill people, or killing people, or carrying a gun into a crime, committing a capital offense. I mean, it's that simple, really. It's not. This is not rocket science here. I'm gonna need some coffee. I need to freshen up.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. No worries, David Nation. That's pretty funny, Russia's second party. Thanks for that, Leroy. Oh. And the Make-A-Wish teacher. I do know some students, kids that are 10, go shooting with their family. I wasn't sick. I was getting better until I came home and started breathing this air. Oh, my hair. It looks darker today because I washed it this morning. It's been a couple days since I washed it. And then I use Miracle Mane shampoo and Infusium 23 conditioner. That's what I do. That's my hair regime. How come I'm not blonde? Because God made me this way, with brown hair and brown eyes. Ha ha ha, Drag King. Okay, I should Bengalitis to keep David so he doesn't have so he doesn't get sick with the cold I have. Genetics, both. Sam from Flushing. What? New York? Flushing Meadows? I want to free you from this place. In a way I am. I'm in the digital world now. So I'm free from the physical. Right? No, I was never a cheerleader. I wasn't coordinated like that. Thank you, Congo's third party. I've heard that, Clang Douglas. I will be in between. I'll be an angel. Divination, so I'll still be here helping people. Yeah, I have the legs to be a cheerleader, I guess. I'm 5'11". I have some height on me for sure. I will be a cyborg. That's pretty funny. Divination. I hope to be a zombie when I die. Same body. Just come back. Keep rotting. Means to mean she is being a lady. Long hair on a lady. To means to mean she is being a lady. Okay. Ha ha ha. Congo's third party. Good one. You made me laugh. No. I was talking to a friend. That's why I came home late. Female friend. I'm strong. For my size, for being 5'11", I don't know, but I can do it. Oh, David's 6'4". Lionize? What do you mean by lionize? Would I cut my hair and auction it on eBay to raise money for ATP? No. I would cut my hair, but then I'd just grow it out again. Would I auction it on eBay to raise money for ATP? No. I've never made Sarah laugh. But I still like you, Sniper. Many people cannot make me laugh. I'm getting rid of you, Iron Golden King. You're out of here. No, I don't drink. That's hilarious. A world's powerful crossbow with my hair. See, I gotta go buy a crossbow now. It's a joke? Is that you apologizing by saying it's a joke? Just say, I'm very sorry, Sarah. Please forgive me and don't ban me, please. Do Americans? No. No, Congo's third party. What, you want to take it and put it on top of yourself, David Nation? That's kind of creepy, if you ask me. I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I even entertained that idea. Wait, no. Oh yes, true. All you need me is my, I can take it on everyone with my kick. Oh, a harp or violin, yeah. Okay, you're short on VPNs, okay. Okay, I see that sneaky smile. Thanks, Sniper. Congress, Netanyahu faults a bad deal on nuclear power on Iran nuclear program. Prime Minister used one of the world's most prominent venues on Tuesday to denounce what he called a bad deal being negotiated with Iran. The House passed a bill fully funding the Department of Homeland Security. Can I fight? Am I gritty? Pow pow. I don't need to fight. I'll calm you down with my voice. Oh, your wife's up? Tell your wife, hi, abnormal, and you're not macking on the ladies. Netanyahu, no, I didn't see Netanyahu's speech. What? Yeah. Anyway, your voice is your instrument. You might need some tuning. I would need some tuning if my voice were my instrument, obviously, right now. A volcano, Villarrica, erupts in southern Chile. Villages were evacuated in Santiago, Chile. Target is going to cut thousands of jobs. Hi, Lily. Oh, I'm sorry. Does coffee help or chocolate? Or just kind of put your eyes like mine, where you're still tired but not quite awake? You're just like, I'm kind of looking at you. Yeah. Steam Link streaming box expected in November. Steam Link streaming box expected in November. Valve is prepping a set-top box device that will make it easier to stream games from the PC to the TV. And so they're going to do Steam machines in 2015. They're releasing those. And abnormally should like rub Lily's back, saying it's okay. Slowly wake up. Make sure you spend more time with Dave. I know, Dave's coffee cup. I can't promise to do that though. Not until June. Yeah. What? Asgardian winged goats. Thank you, I think, Counter Hook. I know I do need to spend more time with David. Did I? What? Your hands are tired? What? That's no, I went. Ow! Come on! That was just me, kind of like Bill Clinton used to do, like, you know. Come on. Alright. Your mind is in the gutter, you. After Obama's otaku outing, images surface of liver Joe Biden. What? I don't know what that is. Rocket News 24. I don't even want to read it. You're going to take out a loan? Wait. You need to see if something's available that you can afford, David Nation. Don't take out a loan to go to school. You know it, Kenny Lenny's. All right. The Man in Black. No, that's not worth reading. Solar job. Oh, well, all the people are that are getting fired from Target, they can go find a job in the solar energy industry, because solar energy jobs are growing by leaps and bounds. You know, you'd rather work for a solar company than Target anyway. Let's face reality. At least then you'll feel like you're actually doing good for the planet than just selling a bunch of things. Season of Treason. It's a very good documentary. I know, Dave's Coffee Cup. That's why I don't really shop there.
To start with a background.
So, pardon you didn't get a 3.0 like me. Sorry, CUNY won't accept you. Oh, City University of New York won't accept you. Oh, really? Your GPA was 2.936. Well, I didn't get a 3.0. I got like a 3.99. You struggled in college? Oh, I'm sorry. And so you want to take out more, you want to take out a loan, which means you're going to have to owe someone money to go do something that wasn't very good. You want to continue down that route? 3.98, something like that. Your confidence? Why don't you see if you can well, yeah, of course I am, David Nation. You're just realizing that? No, I'm just kidding. No, why don't you see if you why don't you first, before you do anything, see if you can talk to the place you work and see if there's any like scholarship money for you to go back and get your master's, and then also see if there's any at least if you are going to take out a loan, like a low interest loan, also see if there's like some kind of repayment program. So if you work for a certain number of years in your area, if you are going to take out a loan, maybe they'll pay it back, something like that. Got a 7.0. A 7.0 is not even possible. The highest you can get is 4.0. Unless like they give higher than 4.0 in colleges these days, which I don't believe they do. Code.org and Code Academy and Scratch, Wet Walnut. Well, I haven't delved into Scratch very much, but yes, I tell people about Code.org, and I really like w3schools.org, or is it .com? But yes, that's about the coding I do. I mean, I've coded websites by hand before with like Notepad++, but I don't really know like C# and C++ and all that jazz. But a little bit of coding, yes. I'm self-taught. Well, it's very good that you can kind of communicate for being a tort. Are you a fruit tort or a wait, no, that's a tart. Sorry. I do love W3 Schools for all my HTML needs as well. Oh gosh. Filling your heads with the rubbish. Well, I'm sorry, I teach, so I don't fill people's heads with rubbish. I teach things like, well, I can't go into details because this is supposed to be a political show, whatever. Yeah, I understand you struggle to get a 3.0 in college. It's tough.
That's
and
good.
that's why you shouldn't, I mean, that's why I don't think you should take out a loan to go get your master's.
Right.
I think that you should save up money and get your master's over time. Let's see if there's an online school that will give you a master's in the degree that in the field that you want. You took Spanish? Why?
That was a tough
Well,
one.
like, there's a cool school. I'm planning on applying to an online school called Western Governors University, which is accredited.
And I'm encouraging her. I think it's great. Any U.S. citizen will have access to a 6-week to 6-month credential system, certification system. I can't guarantee a 2-year degree. I know Obama tried to do that, but the numbers just don't, we don't have the money for that. But we do have a 6-week to 6-month program I'm proposing that will be paid for in full by a U.S. government, and it'll give you a chance to actually get a job paying $20-25 an hour. That's the goal. Real practical, 2 years is too long to wait in this economy to start making money back. And we don't need to turn our entire education system into a scam, which is what it is today.
Okay. Yes, we're gamers. Thank you, Boink. Welcome.
We were gamers back in the 90s. Sarah and I started on PlayStation 1.
Well, I would say no. Actually, Dave's Coffee Cup, this one online university there's only 2 online universities that look okay on your resume, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
Because Western Governors University is actually accredited in various states.
Yeah, Topper
So
Dan.
whereas I wouldn't go to just any online school, but I would go to Western Governors University.
Topper Dan, how long did it take you to pass the stockbroker's exam to become a stockbroker? It was 6 months, right? It's a 6-month program. I bet you could cram it into a 6-week period. You don't need a master's degree to be a stockbroker. Well, whatever you are, how long did
What
that
are
take?
you? What are you?
How long did that take to become who you are?
He never took an exam to be a stockbroker.
Oh, okay.
He just trades stock.
Well, I saw the Sopranos, and I know that basically you take a little exam, right, to become a stockbroker. I derive most of my information from the Sopranos.
I'm happy with what I'm going to do. Dave's Coffee Cup. Thank you for the advice, though.
Oh, so you're vaping and cidering as well. Okay.
Or your hot cider.
Hot cider and vaping.
Ooh, I would love some hot cider.
You've got apple juice. Go ahead
I know.
and make it up. You want me to make you a cup?
Yes.
Okay, I'll be right back. That was a hint. I'll be right there.
I know. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
David takes good care of me. He's awesome. He's so great. Did he have a 2.5 in college? Yikes. Okay. Really? That's interesting. You're in your 40s, you have to go to school again? What? What? To read stick figures? What are you talking about, abnormal? I hope you're kidding, have ya? Don't ask. Well, now you got me all curious. To read stick figures. Like calligraphy? Or, hieroglyphics? It's not really a joke. Yikes. Understanding stick figures. Not that bad, okay. Drawing, art. And why would you have to go to school to do art? No problem, I won't push you, abnormal. As long as Lily puts up with you, you're fine. This is terrific Sarah Tuesday nights, right? Well, at least till David gets back with my hot cider. Well, obviously, Steve-O, but I would probably have you walking out on my math lesson because I would expect people to spell correctly. I know, Dave's Coffee Cup, what you're saying. However, I like what I'm doing. I really love my life. Iron Golden King, you definitely you definitely make me laugh. Oh, Mandarin. Yeah, definitely. Oh, okay.
A low sugar cider that you have there.
Thank you.
Not a lot of sugar in it.
Oh, good. That's why you're partying here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah, you should be a PhD. I'd have to get my master's first.
Sarah has the brains to go all the way. She really does. She could easily have gotten a master's and a PhD,
And a PhD,
by now.
probably.
But she's smart because she's not wasting a lot of money on education. And this program that she signed up to is going to be $12,000 if she does it in a certain time period. $12,000 for a master's. That's not bad in this economy. She has a bachelor's degree and she teaches with that. You could never have enough sugar in your cider. That's a low sugar cider. You'd have to add sugar to that. Hi, everybody.
It's 1/2 plus 1/3 Stebu.
I know the stock exchange system is a system to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. I agree. The billionaires, however, use it to buy. Yeah. Kenny, I told you not to do. Oh, you donated, really?
No, read the rest.
Oh. Poor Kenny. So many people are so unhappy. Sad.
What is your view on speed cameras and the red light cameras? I think there's 3 ends in Lenny too.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little. I'm kind of a mixed on the idea of video cameras at intersections. I don't want a lot of traffic cops, but I don't want a lot of video cameras at intersections either. I think we could do better with areas that have had incidences where probabilities of a pedestrian getting killed is pretty great.
Well, I think
those would be the areas to focus on primarily.
For traffic cameras.
Yeah, for traffic cameras.
What about speed cameras? I mean, it would be
Same as
cheaper
speed
than,
cameras.
than cops, in your opinion.
No, I see. I was in favor of more automation, but not to the point where it's over surveillance of the American people. But a few serious intersections that are trouble spots. I'm trying to make the police profile as minimalistic as possible, so it doesn't intrude upon our privacy and our freedoms. And I think right now with all their speed guns, they are way over the top. And recently with the brutality charges, Barack Obama's little effort to create the impression of progressivism here, his national Obama law plan, I don't think it has enough teeth in it, and I don't think it even addresses the serious brutality
Obama
issue.
law? What's this?
Well, he's introduced this plan for progressive takeover of state and local policing.
What?
It's crazy. And
what?
Yeah. The Daily Caller is talking about it. It's pretty serious when a person looks at how much Obama's trying to do in his remaining few years of his lame duck presidency. It's almost like he's desperately trying to make a meaning out of what he's doing as a president. He introduced his plan for a progressive takeover of state and local policing. We have a great opportunity to really transform how we think about community law enforcement relations. Anyway, I'll give you guys the link. You can check it out yourself. I don't want to bore you with the details, but it's just another progressive, basic, generic promise of the future. We need something with meat in it, something with real teeth in the bill. And I think getting Obama to make a statement about the way police officers are killing people, instead of maiming people, they're killing people. That would be very beneficial at this point.
Thank you.
Maybe you should run for president, yeah. You'd probably have a better chance of running than I do, simply because you're a black guy.
I don't really follow that, Leroy.
Yeah, you got a better chance of winning. America is not that interested in a white American running for Congress. I found that out the hard way, and Sarah did too, about building a political party, a third party. It's so impossible at a local level. And it's ironic these Democrats keep saying, think globally and act locally. Well, when we act locally, they condemn us. They call us, weirdos or whatever. The fact that we're starting a third party really is a deficit. So you'd have a better chance running as a Democrat, David Nation. Yeah, you would. If I were running up against you in a campaign locally, you would win. I don't care whatever. The reason is you're black, and the American Democrat seems to be in love with black politicians. So I'm just telling you, it's kind of crazy. We are dealing with a prejudiced group of people in the Democrats. They call people names. Instead of answering to the issues of the truth, they call you a truther. That's right, I'm black. Oh, I am. I forgot I was black. Thank you for reminding me. Wow.
You're calling me a weirdo?
No, not you, but I mean, people think that anyone who runs for a third party is weird. So you have that stigma to get past. No, Melko, I'm not a sore loser, and you're sore for being in here. I think Melko, Hell's Angels, Melko is Hell's Angels, by the way. Yeah, /ban Melko. You just keep coming in. You're like the creeping fungus of chatters. Yeah.
Bye. Okay, in the probable chance that you are elected president, how would you change anything given the fact that Senate and Congress will likely be opposing you?
Well, that's where the creativity part comes in, Vicloon. For instance, our plan to solve the medical problem in the streets of America by fusing the Veterans Administration remake with this plan is my artful effort as executive in dodging the proverbial congressional bullet. I won't have to get Congress to approve the mobile medical units. We'll put them together right away through the VA system. So I'm going to start showing them by example how to solve America's problems. I don't think that anybody wants to beat Dave Hayes at a job that pays $42,000 a year. I mean, gosh, keep it. Enjoy it, man. Maybe all the money you'll have in your life. But seriously, it's not about the money. It's about doing the right thing.
Hi, Lily. I'm glad you're up and awake now. Oh, you're Taiwanese? Nice. So is it so that you can write her love letters in Mandarin that you're going back to school?
Sniper.
I hope so for her sake.
I'm going to get rid of...
He's going back to school, Lily. Sort of.
I don't know why we have this Irish guy hanging out in our room anyway. Your wife is Taiwanese?
Her name's Lily.
Le jeune Nicole is gone from the Philadelphia Eagles. I had no idea that Le jeune Nicole was gone from the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, did you not she talk to me on TV about this?
Good job, Lily, learning English.
Yeah. I'm circumventing the rules insofar as I'm coming up with new ideas that'll map around the congressional lockup that these prostitutes have right now. Hey, as soon as they break away from their pimps that are running their campaign and all their high-paid donors that are paying them $50,000 a plate to get reelected, then we'll start to get real people in Congress, and we may need all third-party people running. Seriously. It is supposed to be a French accent? No, it was not horrible. It was a very bad caricature, but not horrible. These people are so rich, they protect their interests. Yeah, I know, and that's why we got their butt covered. We got the people, Vicloon. And that's more important than all the money in the world. Because you got people talking. And that's more important. Best advertising is word of mouth. What's your serious question, Adele? I'm saying $50,000 plate dinners frequently go in as donations from big donors.
Yeah, what they do, Dave's Coffee Cup, is like the Democratic Party, they'll put on a dinner that's like, I don't know, about 50. Yeah, it could be 50,000. I have heard of that when Obama was in town.
Yeah.
And then what they do is they... Oh, wow, okay. Is that far from you? You got it. Is that far from you, abnormal? Type A. So then what they do is then they split up the money from those big ticket meals. So like 5,000 will go, well, 10,000 will go to the Obama campaign. Another 10,000 will go to the Democratic Party. Another 10,000 will go to a PAC. I mean, I have definitely heard of $30,000 dinners.
$50,000 plate dinners were going on in 2012.
It's crazy, but they did have them in 2012 and 2008.
Anyway, this problem has become so ridiculous. Lockheed Martin, for instance, truly spends about $2.5 million a year in donating to congressmen and women. $2.5 million is a drop in the bucket because they get $35 billion in contracts for $2.5 million in donations. It's huge. I mean, the payoff is unbelievable. These big corporations are going to the bank, man, and they're like tanking on your tax dollars, and they're sucking it dry, and they simply have to pay a congressman, that amount of money, and then they're good to go. I've talked to people in business that have talked to people that are former government that will sell anything you want, any law you want, for $50,000 to $75,000. You want to do business in one particular area, and you're dealing with a regulation, EPA regulation, easily $75,000 will get you what. That's what they tell me. I wasn't at the business meeting, but that's what these people told me. They said at a business meeting with a former governor of a former state.
That's what David was referring to when he said $50,000 plate dinners. He was talking about fundraisers.
We're talking about 50 to
$75,000.
75,000 donations to people. Yeah, it's going on all the time. These are corrupt people. You and I aren't living like this.
I like to be optimistic. Yeah, sometimes certain people do charge huge. Yeah.
You're very kind
Like
to
the Girl
bring
Scout
that up.
cookies that are $4 a box, and you get them, and they're like,
Yeah.
end up being like 50 cents per cookie.
Yeah, but something. Those cookies were the best Girl Scout cookies I have had in a long time. They've got it down. They've got the chocolate layering, and it gives you that taste thing that you just don't get from a regular cookie, I guess.
I guess I should buy some more.
All right, so yeah. So what's going on, man?
Okay. It's like when what? What did you say?
And you're just making that up. Please don't make jokes like that, Anne. Underground documentaries, Planet for Sale.
I agree with you, Topper Dan. Especially like when they said, "Oh, House has approved more home Department of National. What is it? What is that? Why can't I think of it? Homeland Security."
DHS, yeah. The funding has been cut back.
No, they are fully funding it now.
Yeah, well, that was just a toy. They were playing with words. The Republicans were acting tough on immigration, but they're caving in now. We knew that they would. Look at this, Sarah. I thought this would be appropriate for you. Came from a Common Core State Standards Initiative classroom.
Using it basically is saying this is inspiring a closer and more engaged student body. So the people that are actually using it like it. And again, in terms of the local control, you still have local control. So if you want higher standards, if that is your genuine point, then you can go ahead and do the higher standard. And the process was indeed totally transparent. And I'm going to defer now to David and Bill.
I'm not paid to be here either. I'm just an interested teacher who helped write the standards. And the reason why I helped write the standards and the reason why I am here today is that as a white male in society, I'm given a lot of privilege that I didn't earn. And as a result, I think it's really important. I think it's really important that all kids get an equal opportunity to learn how to read. And I think I had this set of advantages as a result of who I was, not being any choice of mine. And when I walk into places like Roberto Clemente High School on the west side of Chicago, I think it's really important that those kids learn how to read just as well as I had the opportunity to read. And in creating an equitable
Yeah, I don't want to belabor the point, but this guy really believes that he had white privilege, and he wants to make sure that people, get what he had. I'd just love to meet all these people who feel that they've gotten white privilege. I find that fascinating. I don't dig through garbage. I've never dug through garbage in my life. I've never dumpster dived. I did pick up a box of jalapenos sitting outside of a dumpster one day when I drove by. I made the best hot sauce I think I've ever made. Slow cooked it for 2 days and then bottled it. It was great. It was a waste of jalapenos. I was like, Sarah, we got 40 pounds of jalapenos. I mean, there's got to be a purpose for this. So, yeah. But I don't dumpster dive, man. But, we should deal with the dumpster problem. The truth is 50% of our food that comes into this country actually is thrown in the dumpster and is wasted. It's not even composted. So a plan to create a national composting area in every area in America would be part of what I would do for this country. Offering fertilizer, a hempoline production from anybody growing hemp or marijuana, because I'm going to legalize marijuana, the first thing I do. And we'll have a very vibrant growing industry in the hempoline production area, as well as all the products we're going to be able to sell. Worldwide, exporting fine grades of THC. I mean, you can only imagine. We will put the Afghan opium trade out of business, and we're not producing something that's addictive, a non-addictive, mild hallucinogenic called THC. That's something that our country could benefit from.
You only notice when I do yawn.
No, it's 50% Topper Dan. Hey, are you just going to come in here and disagree with everything I say? The numbers are even scarier than that. More than 50% of our food is being thrown in the dumpster. Restaurant waste, market waste, you name it. So yeah, we need to deal with this. And yeah, see, Megan and Bill always are going to argue about something. White privilege is one of them. I don't imagine anybody in the world now thinking that white people have more privilege than anybody else. With all the affirmative action that's been going on over the past 50 years, how can anyone say that whites have a better chance at anything in this society? Sarah's looking tired. You can take a break, Sarah.
Right.
Thanks for coming in and spending time with us.
Yeah.
We could all benefit from opium if you're an addict, but I don't encourage anybody to become an addict. God. But yeah, there's talk about legalizing all drugs. I'm open to the discussion. I'd be willing to look at it if 2/3 of the majority of the country wants to do that. Thank you, Sarah. You were awesome. Now I'll have to ban Topper Dan because he just got his time with you, and he's going to go off in the cold shower where he needs to spend the rest of his life. Okay. Yeah, he's totally creepy. I know you're asking yourself. The answer is yes. Good. Well, of course, and we don't want people to be driving on the influence of marijuana or conducting business, or you wouldn't want your cop to walk up to you and go, "Hey, dude, you we're driving really fast, dude. Could I see your license and registration, man?" But you know that there are all these confiscations of marijuana in New York. New York's big idea is to give all that drug marijuana to a couple pharmacies and sell it. Can you imagine? I mean, they want to profit from something that's artificially made illegal by their state, and then they want to legalize it and give it to cronies that have pharmacies in the business. You're going to make you an offer you can't refuse, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you can't show up at work stoned, you know what I'm talking about? Hey, I don't care if you think you can drive better, true status. The point is, it's not right to drink and drive. You shouldn't do drugs and drive. You know what I'm talking about? Okay? David Nation, go down and get me a hot dog, okay? A double on the sauerkraut. You are a moron. You are a moron. Hey, what else do you have to say besides that? Because I'm about ready to ban you from the room. You can take Tylenol and drive, yeah. People drive on Vicodin all the time. Let's turn guest chat on. Let's guest on. I can't do that, David Nation. I told you to get a fecal contamination or a fecal donor to provide you with some feces. The newest solution. I've read the medical reviews. Fecal donors. You could all become a fecal donor. Yeah. It's not unusual to donate your feces for cash. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, people like you, David Nation, could benefit from that. Apparently, some sort of Crohn's disease is connected to having a really clean diet. So they recommend, becoming fecal donors. I don't know the process and how to do it, but I'm sure you could, contact your local hospital and say, "Hi, could I become a fecal donor? Honey, I gotta go." Yeah, because they're finding it's a treatment for Crohn's disease. Whatever. No, it's not true. Frankly, Crohn's is caused by eating clean food, really good food. It's common among people who are Jewish. Anyone with Jewish ancestry is prone to Crohn's disease. Yeah, a friend who never admitted his name was Jewish, but I said, with a name like Smith, how could you not be Jewish? I know. I have an IQ of 185, so you're out of here. 185 is bigger than 148, so you lose. Yeah, teacher admits he helped write the Common Core to end white privilege. It happens, I know, David Nation. And you're 145. Wow, we've got a lot of really bright people here today. Thank you for coming in, guys. Well, we've chosen to be here because we have to talk about the future of our country apart from all the Zionist-dominated politics that we've been hearing on a daily basis. The situation with Netanyahu, I support military air defense of his initiative, but no ground troops. It's all right. No, sir, I have it written in my Cume folder. And anyone who tries to demoralize us will be banned. We don't like people who demoralize anybody because you're basically a part of the problem. Goodbye. I have not heard DT. Is she really good? I will now read the Chinese statement. Google Translate. No, they can't, and that's why I ban them, because I don't like to hear crap. Okay, so they're saying the sun will always set, the Chinese empire, and we will take back the U.S. We will become a world empire once again. And when was it that China owned the United States? I didn't get that. My thoughts on healthcare is, wouldn't it have been great if we had a universal healthcare plan or even a public option? So I'm with a lot of you Democrats who want something. We have a national opt-in plan, which will be very affordable, $60 per month per individual. And we anticipate getting quite a bit of revenue from that, $12 billion in the first year if we had 20 million people signed up. 20 million is pretty, that's hopeful. The problem with Obamacare is it was not a universal health care plan, and unfortunately it didn't deliver on lowering costs of health care. In fact, it encouraged higher costs of health care, and now the government's getting fleeced. The Congressional Budget Office just expanded the 10-year total to $1.3 trillion, which is way beyond what we needed to spend. I had not heard about the book on the Mars. If you have the link, I'd love to see it. Of course, you can't post a link. Protection skills? Really? Be done? I've never heard that being an IQ measurement. I was spatial reasoning, and I scored a genius level in spatial reasoning. So we all have individual intelligences, folks. Some of you may be kinetic learners. Maybe you learn to dance. You know, have you ever done the Macarena or the Electric Avenue dance at a wedding? And you just picked it up like that? Maybe you're a kinetic learner. You learn body movement. Me, on the other hand, I'm like 2 left feet, and I'm going, what the hell? I can't possibly do this. But at least I recognize my limitations. Well, maybe some people ought to broadcast a nightly show in your country. It's time for your yogurt. I can parallel park with the best of it. I'm a very good driver. I'm an excellent driver. I don't think Stanford Binet is very accurate at all. I think Stanford Binet misses everything. My God, I mean, Stanford Binet is mostly based on vocabulary. And there was a study that was done in 1966 called the Chitlin test. And it was given to African Americans who, and white people who were asked, all kinds of questions about chitlins and collard greens and cooked ham and, all these slang subcultural terms that the African American uses. And no white guy could even pass any of the questions. So clearly it's based on vocabulary. If you are living in a different subculture, you're going to test lower on a vocabulary-based test like Stanford Binet. I am very efficient, it's true. I'm driving a vehicle that is like phenomenal now because, no matter where the price of gas goes, I'm still going to be saving money. And I bought Sarah one just like it. It's the Honda Insight, and it's amazing. It was made in 2000 to 2006, and it gets about 60 miles per gallon. The 5-speed does. And her CVT transmission will get 60 if it's on a flat surface. So yeah, we kind of prepared for the future, and we're kind of living the life. We call ourselves hybrid Amish people. Traditionalists, we're monogamous partners, but we're not married in the traditional sense. I'm not running for president, only you have something to prove, Dave. Thank you. You have an insight too, Beaton? Wow. That's so cool. Well, like minds think alike, right? Well, we loved it so much that I bought mine in 2006 used, and I got a good deal on it, $7,500 back then. And we recently got another one for about $4,000 used, with only 132,000 on it. So, yeah, we love it. It's my dream car. I remember I was watching television one day, and one thing came on the show, a Honda Insight. My father said to me, "David, what do you think of that car?" I said, "That would be my dream car, Dad." And it's one of the last things I ever said to my dad, because he died about a month and a half later. It's crazy. But, I mean, I talked to him at length all through the whole process, but those stick out in my mind, those little talks. We also watched a video of a guy from Illinois who was running for state senate at the time. His name was Barack Obama, and he was from Kenya. And my dad said, "What do you think of this Kenyan that's trying to run for a state senate? Do you think he'll go on to the presidency?" I said, "Dad, he can't. You can't run for president if you're from Kenya." No, he said he was from Kenya all the way up to 2007. Barack Obama did. And even his wife Michelle was saying it in 2007 in speeches. I have video of her saying it. So if you think for a second that he's always said he was from Hawaii, that's just a lie, an outright lie. He was saying he was from Connecticut all the way to 2007. Even his literary agent had it on the site saying he was from Kenya. They didn't know.
Surrounding HIV testing, which is still plaguing so many of our communities, which you all know, a lot of that is due to homophobia. Barack has led by example. When we took our trip to Africa and visited his home country in Kenya, when we took our trip to Africa and visited his home country in when we took our trip to Africa and visited his home country in Kenya, we took a public HIV test.
Well, I'm glad they did. Yeah, mountains look good. Yeah. Yeah, anything more need to be said? I mean, they were publicly from Kenya all the way up to 2007. That's why everyone was shocked when he said he had proof that he was from Hawaii. And then the birth certificate that was presented has been refuted by expert after expert as being a forgery. Yet the Democrats won't even accept that, won't even allow a discussion of that. Okay. We're going to say guest off right now. Thank you. So, being the Supreme Court didn't allow anyone to elevate to the Supreme Court on the issue, the birther issue, and anyone who questions Barack Obama's birth certificate is still just called a name by the Democrats. That's how they handle questions. Just call people birthers. It's already been sent to Hannity Dancy. Everything's been going forward for some time, and they've been shooting it down. Elena Kagan, the Supreme Court justice that we have, she was never a judge, ever, before she was given the Supreme Court justiceship. She'd never served as a judge once in her entire life. What she was, though, is Solicitor General, marking the gateway to the Supreme Court. So every case in 2008 about Obama citizenship that went to their front door, she turned it away. And out of total payback, Obama gave her the Supreme Court nomination. Total payback. It's obvious. It's right in your face. It's so obvious. It may not be a requirement to become a Supreme Court justice, but it does raise eyebrows when asking what made her qualified when there were a lot of judges that could have been made a Supreme Court justice who'd done very well for years. But she got it because she was the person that was holding the door from any of those questions about Obama's citizenship from making it to the Supreme Court. Whatever, we're kind of a hodgepodge in America of nationalities. I don't track my Norwegian background. I don't pursue my relatives from over there. I haven't. It's just people just kind of pass on their original culture once they live here long enough. It's just one of those things. You can't really control it. But in no way you should prevent people from holding on to their culture any way they can. I don't think he has the right to ban AR-15 ammunition right now. Throbert? I've heard it from a lot of people that, like Throbert Powers, that AR-15 ammunition is not available right now. I'm going to call my gun dealer and see if that's true. No, I'm not looking forward to my golden orbs. I'm not, because I don't want to kill the turkey. I'd rather pardon the turkey and eat tofurkey. But I like good quality turkey when I eat turkey, so I'm probably not going to pardon the turkey after all. We'll make more turkey. We'll make organic range-fed turkey and feed it at our buffet for Thanksgiving. She's doing great, David Nation. She's really enjoying herself. She's going out working theater. She's very active theater-wise. Well, you may not like Scandinavians, but I'm not here to hate you because of your background. That's okay. No, I thought it was right to invite a foreign head of state to speak when he clearly is at odds with the president. The president needs that type of friction. The problem with Barack Obama is he's not willing to take any criticism. Anytime somebody questions him, they're fired. General Petraeus is now being charged with releasing secrets to Paula. You heard about that? He's going to be charged with a criminal act, General Petraeus. And then, of course, Chuck Hagel recently was fired, but he was forced to resign because he simply asked Barack Obama, "What's your strategy with Bashar al-Assad?" And Obama, they say, was fuming, upset. He didn't even want to know what to say. The guy basically resigned the next day. Ralph Nader, yeah, I think Ralph Nader is a very important person in our history. So many lives have been prevented because of his work with Unsafe at Any Speed, the book he wrote in 1966 to get people to wear seatbelts. I think he's an American hero. And I would probably have him in transportation if you take the directorship. I'd like to appoint him. I'd like to appoint Ron Paul to the Treasury. I'd like to put some people like Bernie Sanders in Commerce. That's who I'd like to be in charge of Commerce. Ron Paul would be excellent with Treasury, I believe. He really is a fiscal conservative and probably has the right knowledge base to really tackle the Fed. We're going to need to retire the Fed in about a year, I think. Maybe two, I don't know. They're definitely an obstacle to our true development. Our core economy has not evolved. We have a system where we have imbalances going on. Consumer spending is down overall. That's why stores like Sears and JCPenney's and Radio Shack and Target and other stores are closing. But the pension plans are in full gear, and we've got a huge cost to the state. Some states, like Massachusetts, are looking at 4,500 pensioners being given severance packages just to clean them up and get rid of this. They can't. The state budgets are starting to buckle under the pressure of the pension plans. So we're going to need. Yeah, I'm not going to put Ron Paul on foreign policy. I would never do that. But we would like a Treasury expert would be Ron Paul, I think. He's got enough background to really do it. We do need a third party, I know. That's why I've been running. No, not at all. No. Radio Shack died along with all the other companies because consumer spending has dropped dramatically. And there's no way they can compete in this market. And when you got China literally selling stuff on the internet for a dime, pennies on the dollar, and it's garbage when it gets there. No, I'm afraid Hillary's going to be retired out to she and Bill can spend as much time as they can together in the future. I don't think I'll be integrating Hillary on any of my policy decisions. We can consult with the Clintons, let's put it that way. We'll definitely have a listening ear at the White House. I will not negate them like Barack Obama has done. We'll at least listen to them. Well, what I'm suggesting, Gatorade, is an infrastructure bank offering 2% loans to U.S. businesses hiring U.S. citizens at a living wage of $15 an hour. And it would run parallel to the existing Fed. The infrastructure bank would not be a central bank. It would be a way to offer 2% loans out to businesses, U.S. businesses, and also provide microloans. Microloans are things that I think we can integrate into our plan for rebuilding America, and I think anybody could qualify for a microloan of $1,000, as long as you're not a felon. Ralph Nader's too old. The Department of Transportation is not that difficult to manage. He could do it in his sleep. No, I disagree. The internet sales have not increased to compensate for the losses in retail spending. If internet sales had dramatically increased, I would agree with you. But it's overall the expenditures have been curtailed because there's not a lot of disposable income in the economy. Well, we'll store money any way we can, call it treasury. You know, the treasury can buy its own treasury bonds if need be. They can also print up money. They can have a relationship just like the Fed does with the mint. Everyone has the right to fail. What we're worried about, top or down, it may have passed over your head, but we have a monopoly forming under Google and possibly a monopoly under Microsoft. I'm a little concerned about those two companies. And of course, Facebook, it doesn't seem to have any strong merit, and I would investigate whether Facebook should ever have been offered up as a limited public offering. It's very likely that its sales were completely trumped up by Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan, and most likely could have resulted in the catastrophe. I know there's still all kinds of legal battles pending about the Facebook sales. People got hosed when Facebook went out at $45 a share and dropped to 26 that same day on news from Morgan Stanley that they did not appraise their advertising sales properly for mobile units. I mean, the whole thing was managed like completely high schoolish. And it looks to me like it's just a padded pocket thing where the government bought up the infrastructure. Microsoft has become ineffective and has proven time and time again to not be nimble enough to respond to the changing demands of the technologies that we are all experiencing. The only reason why it's doing at all anything, Microsoft, is the fact that it's still, the Windows platform is still, sadly but truly, everything we rely on in America. And it's unfortunate that they had such monopolistic control over the platform because it is the worst pile of bad code ever written. And consequently, we're all facing updates every other day now with them trying to patch their core kernels. It's crazy. Today I had a complete shutdown of our show for 25 minutes while it updated. And they're not even going to support Windows XP past this year. So they're dropping the ball on operating systems that are already operating. We could all say Windows 8.1 or 9.1 is great, but the fact is they're creating a monopoly and they're continually revising the same bad code to make it look new and different. Okay, the books were open, but unfortunately they're not all open. There's shell corporations that are in the books that cannot be traced. The future is changeable. I believe it's not unchangeable. That's why I'm doing this. I would take marijuana and legalize it as soon as I become president. First thing I do. It should be removed from the list of controlled substances. It's not a Schedule I substance because it's medicinal. I don't make any stock predictions, Tony. We're worried about the growth of massive behemoth corporations like Google, and this net neutrality bill that was just passed by the FCC is very disturbing because on the underside, on the upfront, it looks good. Upfront, it says, oh yeah, the rates won't increase carrier to carrier. They'll have the same throughput. All good. The downside of this bill is Google is now going to be seen as a predatory monopoly coming into areas that are normally operated by Comcast or Clearwire or any number of cable providers. And they're going to have all of this utility space in conflict. And believe me, Google is not competing on a fair basis with other companies. They are a monopoly. They have a huge cash base. It's like Apple wanting to create cars. They want to create cars now. They have $165 billion set aside just to do that. Why? No one really knows. It's a bigger nut to crack. It's like they don't have a new idea, so they're grabbing the most ridiculous new idea they can come up with. I would invest in body bags at this point. If I were an investor, toilet paper is kind of a, passé thing. Just buy body bags and invest in a body bag company. You should do well in the long run. No, that's no problem. Yeah, I just think legalization's at the heart of what we're doing. I should put a little marijuana leaf in the corner of the screen so you'll know what I'm talking about. It'll be an eye catcher. But yeah, I believe that we need to create new core industries in the clean green area. And that would include hempoline, a very viable solution to the rising cost of diesel. Hempoline will be a complete solution to the missing commerce that we need. We need some sort of an industry where we can produce a product, and we aren't grabbing any of those in America. We're not making any of the technologies here in America. They're all outsourced. But we can grow pot here. So yeah, Time to Smoke a Bowl icon has just been put up. Well, yeah, Leroy, we'll talk about legalizing all drugs. I'm open to discussing it. If 2/3 of the country want to do that, then we'll consider it. You never asked for favors much, Dave? Okay. I would love for net neutrality to just be what it was originally. Open, unfettered access for everyone to share information with no limitations. I didn't like the Republican solution to monetizing the internet, but I do want everything to be fast, and I want it to be free. And I think everybody likes fast and free, don't we? So why would we allow all these behemoth corporations to profit from the signal? And if that starts happening, I would recommend the Regulatory Commission for the Internet to cut down on profit taking. Limit the profit taking going on and simple use of the internet. I mean, that's all we can do. So the best way to do that is just make it more fast. Google Fiber, yeah, they can do that. I was not bitching about Google Fiber. It's probably the only company that will actually bring it to the final mile to your residence, because America is, so far, they have been unable to lay that line to the final mile. But again, I rest my case. We need more fiber, and it'll make it a lot freer and a lot more opportunity for people. Fast and free is like how you like your girls. Wow. And the ISPs have become local monopolies. I agree with you guys. But I want to see the rates go down for America, not go up. I don't want to see more taxes. I don't want to see that tendency that the Democrats have of pushing more taxes on the American consumer. I'm glad it was classified as a utility. I said I loosely support the net neutrality ruling. I don't think 3 out of 2 is a good enough popular decision. It would have been better if it was 4 out of 1, but no one elected these people. They were all appointed by Obama, the illegal president. So I don't really feel good about 5 people making a decision on the future of the internet, which is the most important part of our lives right now, next to our water and our power. So I don't like another big brother monopoly forming, and I certainly don't like socialism. So I have a real problem with the government thinking they're too important now, because they haven't done anything right. It's taken them 10 years to come up with this net neutrality law after the people defeated CISPA and SOPA. And now we see this new utility and new regulations. I mean, the whole thing's just BS, and it was all put out by George Soros to start with. He sent $200 million to Barack Obama's campaign, or something to that effect, through a super fund, and he got this thing to move forward. You may love socialism, but the downside of socialism is it puts the back of the working class has to pay for the people that don't want to work at all. Yeah, but as long as it's treated as strictly something that is fair, I'm good for that. But anytime they start taxing us and then our rates go up, then you got yourself a problem. So everyone really kind of goes, ugh, when the government tries to take over anything, because they do such a bad job. We've seen the New Deal, FDR's plan to rebuild our country, turn into our welfare nightmare. We've seen the idea of opening up our doors to foreign nations be exploited by the Democrats and allowing illegal aliens to come in willy-nilly and drain our services, our health care, and our education services, forcing our nation in a very precarious position because of it. I don't prop up all these failing businesses. No, I don't want to prop up failing businesses at all. I wouldn't have propped up Sears. I wouldn't have propped up JCPenney's. I probably would not have propped up General Motors. I would have asked them, could we buy your location from you? And can I turn Sears into a kind of like a flea market, a government-sponsored flea market, and we can rent space there? I would rather do that than to just bail out failing businesses. General Motors, I could have made a car like this. I would take this type of a design and made a car that goes 100 miles per gallon, added a little length to it, made it a 4-door, and sold it for $15,000 with a portion of General Motors that we bailed out. We gave that money to China. China is the primary holder now of the General Motors stocks through Shanghai GM. They're taking over. Do I have to validate that with a clip? Some video or something? Yeah, I mean, I can give you a little background, I suppose.
The American taxpayer rescued General Motors from bankruptcy and ruin. 80 billion tax dollars saved GM and Chrysler from going under. Did we bail out GM so it could become a Chinese company? The evidence is mounting that General Motors is becoming China Motors. General Motors has been shrinking its U.S. operations while it's aggressively expanding and investing in the People's Republic of China.
Yeah, so now you have it. You got a little something there, a little mnemonic aid for your discussion. You have asked them if you could buy their property with the money you forced out of the people's banks, the menaces. No, not at all. No, we would take investment capital. I'm looking at a renewable energy bond issue. What I'm recommending, and I'll draw a picture for you here, I'm not trying to use your tax dollars to buy up corporations like Sears, okay? Wow. Renewable energy savings bonds will be the fund we draw from. It'll be part of the infrastructure bank. These renewable energy savings bonds will be offer an 8% return over a year. Excuse me, 4% return over a year. Kind of like a 10-year note. That's something that would work. So I'm not asking that your taxpayer dollars to be used to buy up an empty Sears building to turn it into a flea market. Enable guest chat, okay, as long as you guests are going to behave yourself, but I will cut it off as soon as I get attacked. Well, we're getting more efficient. Solar panels are going to be getting 85% efficiency with brand new nanotechnology innovations that came out of MIT 3 years ago. The marijuana leaf is something that I support, legalization of marijuana, irritable bowels. It's not arbitrary, Clang. It's actually 4% is actually market friendly. Here come the guests. The government had a hell of a time selling war bonds. Well, if we don't get any people to invest in American renewable energy savings bonds, then we won't have any funds to start those plans, will we? So I won't be going against my promise to not draw from your tax dollars to do that innovation, whatever it may be. But if the government owned a part of General Motors, which it theoretically still does, we can use that small portion of General Motors stock that Obama has already lost most of, $15 billion he's lost already on that? We can use that small portion as a way of getting back. They've got abandoned factories we could pick up, and we use them to tool up a car very similar to this. It's got 4-passenger capacity, goes 100 miles, gets 100 miles per gallon, and has a hybrid engine, 3-cylinder engine. You're eating turkey and Swiss? Well, that's nice, Amy. Market friendly is something that people are going to like to invest in. 4% is a good return. It's better than most 10-year Treasury bonds. Yeah. And how's your dandruff? Is it getting better, Amy? Have you been trying a new shampoo? Oh, good. Okie dokie. So Netanyahu's big time discussion today was really putting a cloud on Obama's brainwashing over the American people, claiming he's doing something with Iran when he's not accomplishing anything. And thanks to Netanyahu, he made a special trip to our country, and I want to thank him for his effort to explain that Obama is screwed up everything that we could have possibly gained from a combined negotiation, bringing Israel in our court and basically telling Iran, hey, we're not going to give you squat unless you make a move and give us something. But Obama offers $7 billion to a guy who's smiling, going, hello, my friend, how are you? President Rouhani of Iran. And here we are, nowhere, with even more potential for nuclear proliferation on Iran's side. Yes, the government can do something. I'm not going back to a Soviet system, no. All our ideas in hybrid capitalism involve triggering growth by offering something that's amazing and is almost like incredible, like a car that gets 100 miles per gallon. Think of the orders that would be coming in. For 15 grand, are you serious? We'd probably get seed money from that alone. Well, let's be clear. We're going to clear chat. All right, you guys had your chance. I'll give you a guest on, but unless you don't treat us with a certain respect, we'll just shut you down. Thanks, Clang. Anyway, there are some immutable truths that are glaring examples of things that are just not really discussed. Cars right now are getting, you can get a 200 to 300 miles per gallon on vehicles, like Volkswagen's XL1. Amazing car. I'm going to show it to you here. This vehicle can get 300 miles per gallon. Seriously. So for all these years, they've been suppressing, the oil companies have been buying up patents and all kinds of things, making it so that we can't get vehicles like this on the highway. And these things are amazing. It gets 300 miles per gallon. Well, it won't get 300 miles per gallon with your 350-pound wife in it, no. But they've been covering up the fact that we've got all this potential. Here's a fleet vehicle. The EV fleet, no grease, just lightning, over 100 miles between full charges. This thing can deliver, folks. That's excellent. Look at that. Great link. Yeah, that's an electric transport vehicle. It'll save tons of money on deliveries. Wow. See, there's all kinds of potentials for electric and for gas mileage to be much better than what it is today. So, need I say more? We need to get the oil companies out of the business of controlling what kind of vehicles we have. XSplit really does let you do all this, yeah. For real. Well, let's be clear. Yeah. You can't get your head around the Volkswagen? That's pretty cool, isn't it? Well, whatever. The bottom line is this is a pretty cool car. I really like driving it, and I get 60 miles per gallon on this thing. But I mean, and you would believe the technology. I've just picked up the service manual on this thing. And the electrical work in there is unbelievable. I've got a fan that cools my battery pack. My battery pack acts as a generation storage unit for a motor that acts as a motor going up the hill and a generator going down the hill. The same motor. It's like a rotor system. So as it goes down, it hits the integrated motor assist. It charges the battery. When it goes up, the battery pushes that electricity out and gives me an extra 5 horsepower. I'll look at the CFD design on that car. Okay. It doesn't really matter if Tesla's model can kick my Honda's ass. I paid $4,000 for Sarah's. Tesla's stickers at 39 plus for their lowest cost model. And when you look at real world time miles, the Volt doesn't perform very well. I doubt the Tesla does either. You know, we're going to need to put together a very cool Model T invention for the future. And what better way than the U.S. government creating a vehicle, one particular type of vehicle, mind you, with a powertrain that sits underneath it, and sell that vehicle like crazy, like hotcakes, even export them around the world, and sell the powertrains for under $10,000 to customize vehicle producers who want to create their own plug-up, any kind of cover for every new vehicle could be built around the powertrain. The powertrain will include a driver and passenger seat or a position for a seat. You can pull the seats out and trade them back in. But it'll offer the passenger seat and the driver's seat and driver and passenger airbags included in the powertrain. That'll keep it real simple so we don't have any major crisis with air protection, airbag protection for people. Top or down, the problem with the Soviet Union is they spent all their money on the military. And they stopped producing products for the world economy. The only other country to drop 10% in its contribution to the world's GDP has been the Soviet Union and the United States, recent times. From 2000 to 2010, our contribution dropped 10%, and the Soviet Union did the same thing. They dropped production. And it's a death knell for our economy if we drop production. So we're looking at the end result of a lot of profit taking by corporate industrialists that have been outsourcing labor for so long. They don't even know the meaning of hiring U.S. citizens, and it's cost our nation dearly. And I had this philosophical economic discussion with Milton Friedman back in 1978, and the guy was completely unable to answer any of my questions. All he would say every time I asked him a question was that the free market would solve everything. I thought I was in Wizard of Oz. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. The free market will solve everything. David, when you drive that, do you feel like a turd sniffer? No, Hannah, I feel like I'm an evolved person who's getting better gas mileage than some diesel truck driver driving his double dually Cummins diesel pickup, getting 5 miles per gallon on diesel. I feel a little bit better because I know that they're screwed financially, and I can drive and not be hitting my pocketbook too hard. I know it looks like there's an opposition. Many people are believing this may have been led by the Western authorities to make Putin look like he killed the opposition leader. Putin is investigating the death of his opposition leader right now. Payroll taxes, waive federal payroll taxes for 1 quarter for the working class. That's an interesting thought. It's going to go through a lot of legislation dilemmas in Congress. My goal was to actually put no limit on the payroll tax. Right now, I think caps at $135,000. For people making $500,000, they should pay their appropriate amount of payroll tax. That would help bring in a lot more money to the Social Security Trust Fund. I got a raise. I saw Brock Hudson looking at my face, and he was like winking at me, going. And it was a look of desperation. It was so sad. The guy he died 6 weeks later. I was 18 in 1978. I have a picture of me when I was 18 years old. But I had a lot of hope for the future in America at that time, and I really believed that anything was possible. But I've become more jaded by the fact that the two-party system won't allow anybody with new ideas to come in and change it. This was me in 1978. I remember that day like it was yesterday. He was having a stroke. I'm so sorry. I think a $12 minimum wage is just as unrealistic as a $10 minimum wage, so yeah. Why didn't you just ask for a $15 minimum wage? That's equally unrealistic. Well, Travolta was the guy that everyone was watching at the time, so I had to kind of like do whatever I could. Happy Days. Yeah, I kind of looked like the guy from Happy Days. Anyway, that was me then, and now it's me now. One of the hat is strange. What isn't? People are strange when you're a stranger. All right, if you're going to be a troll, might as well be a pro. People like that. All right, thank goodness I got a little coffee left. No, my hair hasn't become flaccid. I cut it. It's the same hair. I'm not sure what's happening with my hair right now. It's kind of taking on. It's got wings on high. It kind of looks like a bird. Dave, were you ever, as they say, gay for pay? God, Amy, your mind just continues to wander into masturbation land. Wow, that's so sad. Yeah, when I walked on, when I was working on Hollywood Boulevard, there were people whistling at me, but I would never perform sex acts, if that's what you're asking me. I've been a victim of sexual discrimination all my life and sexual harassment. I'm an openly heterosexual man in a gay world. And it's very difficult to actually be as heterosexual as I am in a gay world. I don't know, new hairstyle, whatever. It's just a different conditioner. David, we all get old, our hair gets weird. Never seen hair loss in the middle. No, I'm doing really good there. Hair's doing good. Good to see you. Yeah, David, you'd be attractive if you didn't have the vast annoying distance between your upper lip and base of your nose. Hannah, you're so sick. You're probably suffering from extreme chatitis. It's that stench that comes in between your two legs there, you know. It drives you crazy, doesn't it? You can't help but to notice the odor when you're walking around. I always like to poke fun at you, Dave. I know, I don't understand it. I can't go to the 1978 reunion. It was already past. I missed it. Well, David, what are you going to do with Fukushima from 2016? Yeah. Well, one of the things I want to do is I want to create a block to control the amount of radiated water coming out of the Fukushima Bay Area. So I put together a solution that I sent to the director of the IAEA. I emailed him this. I would like to use the USS Forrestal, which is now being taken apart in Galveston, Galveston, and I want to bring it over there unmanned and sink it right there in the middle of that bay area to block all that radiated water there coming in. Yeah. And that's not going to be that difficult. It only costs a couple $100,000 tug fees. And then I want to work with the Japanese government to initiate our covering of the mound. The mound development will be a large mound of dirt piled high. And then a large U shape around the entire facility so that we won't have water draining through it like it is right now. And then we'll create a water wall all the way out to that Fukushima block point, but with a USS Forrestal reactor. And this will provide a water wall, and we can recycle water and bring it on back to a fast breeder or a burner reactor that we can develop right there on the shores. And it may have to be a little ways because it's pretty radioactive there. But we'll be able to get rid of the spent fuel rods and slowly cap the entire thing off. Isn't that ingenious? Yeah. And this took me all of 5 minutes to figure out. So we can't necessarily do it without the express consent of the Japanese government. But if they don't agree, we'll just initiate World War II again. Reinstitute a war against Japan. We're literally being poisoned in the Pacific Ocean. And it's definitely affecting our country. And if we don't see some action by TEPCO, it's going to get too bad, too much, and it's beyond control. I know. Well, they say that the Fukushima is 80 times worse than Chernobyl. No, Topper Dan, I tried to explain to you, you need to go take a cold shower at this time. We have a treaty. I'm not going to be an ass, but I just want them to be appropriate and respond to the idea. So as president, I'll have a little more clout than right now. I don't get an email back from the guy. But no, I was kidding about initiating a war against Japan again. We just need them to capitulate and get a solution on the table rather quickly, because I don't like them walking around with their finger up their butt not doing anything. Well, Japan's not going to make any more money on that reactor or the 51 other decommissioned reactors in Japan, so I don't understand why we would even go down that road. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe would be very smart to completely scrub the nuclear program in Japan, unless we help them with a meltdown-proof reactor, like a pebble reactor. And if we can build a pebble reactor in America, we can build one in Japan. As long as they're meltdown proof, I think we have to start looking at that. We've got too many reactors that are too unstable right now around the world. No, dilution is not the solution. You've been diluted quite a bit, Topper. You probably lost all your precious bodily fluids in the toilet bowl. David, you cannot interfere with Japan? What, were you telling me I'm not the leader of the free world if I were president? Wow. I don't want to interfere with Japan, but if they don't work rather quickly to get rid of this problem, it's a worldwide problem. And I think every country is going to want to find a rapid solution, period. It's better that I do this than to do the ultimate alternative, which is tactical nuclear devices, just to create a mound on its own, simply to cover up the entire thing with a tactical nuke. That would be really sad, but we'd have to do that. I don't want to nuke Japan. Whatever. The leader of the not-so-free world, does that work for you? Well, we're not in our downfall yet. Thankfully, we still have a lot of resources, but they're about to be taken away from us by China. And I told you it's not my smells that I have to worry about. It's the one that you smell whenever you bend over. And the wind's blowing the opposite way. I don't know, Slovenia? Good grief, David. Why so hostile toward me? Because you've been constantly harassing the room for the past 6 months. The only other person to top you is Rodney. And he's coming around. He's starting to work his way back into the room. Name the movie. Okay. The Poseidon Adventure. Shelley Winters. What did she tell Ernest Borgnine before she took the dive? I met Shelley Winters. She's a wonderful lady. Beautiful woman. Wow, what an actress. Okay, let's see what we got this guy. Sorry. Ernest Borgnine, what a guy. Ernie. Check this guy.
To the show, but real quickly, you're 91 years old. You look fantastic. You look like you're in your late 60s, early 70s. What's the secret?
I don't dare tell you.
No meat. You don't eat meat.
I masturbate a lot.
Okay, I think. Thank you, Ernie. That was great. I actually heard that. Ernie, have you ever been on YouTube?
The late Ernie Borgnine, yeah, he masturbates a lot. He died a couple years ago, yeah, but he lived a long life masturbating. He masturbated a lot. I thought that was really funny. Yeah, great clip. The new Terminator, yeah, Arnold is coming back this summer. Yeah, he's a cybernetic organism. Human flesh over metal exoskeleton. Yeah. He should be fun. I can't wait till Arnold does his little routine again. He's making a big comeback for a guy who never really had a problem in dealing with the stress of the media. I know, I'm rehashing the old stuff. I had to bring it up. Is that okay? You want to talk about something more pressing? Let's get rid of this car here. Let's get rid of all this. We got a few more minutes left. I don't want to cut you off. I've only given you 4 hours of my time. Yeah, let's not dominate the show with hybrid cars that could sell like hotcakes and help stimulate our economy. We wouldn't want to talk about things to help improve our economy. After all, like you said, the government can't do anything right. So you just want to just go along with the idea that big business is going to help the average consumer? Are you out of your mind? You would vote Republican if you thought that. Basically, big business, the trickle-down economy, it never worked. Dream while you're dreaming. Money doesn't care about us. I know. Well, that's because you're not really greedy. See, there is a kind of a different type of a human ruling the world. It's very strange. No, GMOs are on my table, not food. Big business puts GMOs on my table, and pesticides in my yard, and chemicals in the fertilizer. Big businesses put American employees out of work and outsource all job opportunity. Yeah, I like the flat tax. I go for 10% flat tax on everything above 100,000. That's the simple plan. And it would stimulate a lot of investment in this country. Well, you've got internet in your home. I don't talk about chemtrails every night in a call. We covered them pretty heavily last night. I just went ahead and tweeted to a group. It's called Noah's Climate Hangout. The guy that went public from Stanford yesterday. I told him it was very reckless of him to not include chemtrails and weather modification in his discussion of the drought in California. No, creamy corn. Chemtrails are different than condensed air, silly. Chemtrails are willful attempts to modify the weather patterns. We're seeing it all over the place. You guys have been given links and you still don't even pursue this information, and you continue to live in this dream world that chemtrails are non-existent. They are definitely chemtrails. Thank you. A lot of people are getting pissed off here because you people just don't accept the fact that our government's been openly testing the skies, and they even use the Atlantic and Pacific seaboard as a nuclear, biological, and chemical testing area. Did he finally admit to being gay? And I didn't know that. I wouldn't doubt that chemtrails are pesticides and herbicides. They're really, literally trying to poison the atmosphere. They're trying to kill off the human beings as fast as they can. And we have a request for the closing minute here to have the cha music, and I can't believe I went a whole night without the cha music in the background. Amazing, isn't it? All right, here's the cha song, and I'll be signing off for the night, but tomorrow I'll be back with Wasteful Wednesday and a brand new way of looking at government spending, actually eliminating the prostitutes in Congress from getting their little sticky fingers on your tax dollars.
Serious doubts that Lee Harvey Oswald on the conspiracy. To this day, I have serious doubts that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone on the conspiracy.
That was a good link. I'm gonna. No problem, Abnormal. Thank you for coming in, man. I can't play a Beatles song, man. It's copyright violation if I do. Totally bogus. That JFK document was a movie called JFK to 9/11. It's all a rich man's trick. You want to look it up, it's available on YouTube. Yeah, thanks for coming in, man. Thank you, Sony, for helping me make this on acid. Have a good bowel movement, everybody. You'll need one. I'm sorry, I just had to say that. I don't know why. Okay. Let's not forget the mobile medical units. Those are cool. We want to put those in every city in America to help deal with the low-income people and illegal aliens that the Democrats require us to help. started the show talking about the terrible assassination of a great president. And I wouldn't want anyone to think for a second that it isn't an important issue in my life when I'm looking at a tape and watching a guy literally hold a gun on the president from the driver's position. I just can't believe that we've been dumb enough to believe the Warren Commission report when the guy's clearly holding a gun right there. You can see it with your own eyes. Boom. Crazy. That's so sad. All right, everybody, this is what we're all about. The truth. Getting a third party going here and solving America's problems. So if you want to download this poster, it is at davidsponheim.com. And it's 11 by 17. If you take it to a local Staples, Office Depot, or Office Max, they'll print it up. They'll print it up on cardstock. 11 by 17 in color for $1.33. I mean, it doesn't get any more reasonable than that. No, I don't think Jackie did it. It was far too complicated for one person to have killed him. They say that there were 8 different assassins at that location. Sure, Jackie was hot, yeah. All right, so we'll be bringing back a little bit of the marijuana discussion tonight. We're going to look at stoned drivers who hit the test scores and they see if they were driving fairly well. Apparently, new studies are showing people that drive stoned are not as dangerous, nearly, as people who are on alcohol. But hey, that remains to be seen. We need to get better testing done. But here we go. All right, thank you so much for coming in, everyone. Good night. We'll be back tomorrow.
To find out how much marijuana is too much to get behind the wheel, we have set up a driving course. We've also recruited the help of a drug recognition expert. And we have marijuana and volunteers. We're going to find out how much marijuana is too much to be on the road.
The strain is actually called Blueberry Trainwreck.
As a consultant prepared our marijuana smoking lab, 3 volunteers each took a practice run on a course set up by the Thurston County Sheriff's Office, designed to test their basic driving skills. In the car with them is Cascade Driving School instructor Mike Jackson, who has a brake on his side of the vehicle for safety.
I can either grab the wheel or I can touch the brake and bring him to a safe stop.
Our first volunteer, Addie, is a 27-year-old medical marijuana patient and heavy daily user who had smoked some pot prior to arriving. A blood test before our experiment began showed she came to the track already 3 times the new legal limit for driving under the influence of marijuana. The limit is 5 nanograms. She was at nearly 16 nanograms. While learning the course, Addie turned too sharp at a stop sign and clipped one of our cameras.
To find out how much marijuana is too much to get behind the wheel, we have set up a driving course. We've also recruited the help of a drug recognition expert. And we have marijuana and volunteers. We're going to find out how much marijuana
to the track already 3 times the new legal limit for driving under the influence of marijuana. The limit is 5 nanograms. She was at nearly 16 nanograms. While learning the course, Addie turned too sharp at a stop sign and clipped one of our cameras. But the instructor told us her driving was actually fine. Our second volunteer is 34-year-old Dylan, who uses pot on weekends. An initial test showed no marijuana in his system. Finally, we have 56-year-old Jeff, who uses only occasionally. He also started out with no detectable pot in his body.
All right.
Next, we had the volunteers start smoking marijuana. We gave them each 0.3 of a gram of pot to smoke, and from the light to the heavy user, asked them how they felt.
Feeling really buzzed. Yeah. Relaxed and buzzed.
I still feel normal.
Back behind the wheel for another lap, Addie drove a bit slower than she should, and at one point struck a traffic cone.
Oh, I hit a cone. I see it in the rearview mirror. Ah!
A blood test would later show Addie was driving at 7 times the legal limit for pot with 36.7 nanograms of marijuana in her system. but still driving okay.
I wouldn't pull her off the road, no. Not yet. Not this point.
After 0.3 grams of pot, Dylan was doing fine behind the wheel.
Ooh, that was fun.
Even though our lab tests would later reveal he was driving at 5 times the legal limit with 26 nanograms of pot in his system. When we got Jeff on the track, he was being cautious and driving slower than he should, which could catch the eye of a police officer on the road. His blood test showed Jeff was 4 times the legal limit with nearly 22 nanograms in his system. But again, his driving, while slow, was still at acceptable levels.
He did real well.
We had our volunteers smoke and drive 2 more times until they had all smoked 0.9 grams of pot, and they were feeling it.
I'm starting to get it. Oh yeah. I can feel it in my eyes, I can feel it in my body, in my head.
I don't know if I can get, much more stoned, even if I keep smoking it.
And it started to show more on the road. With a drug recognition expert from the Thurston County Sheriff's Office watching, Dylan started having trouble remembering how to drive the course.
Oh, what?